I've always felt different from others. When I lay tired in my bed, my mom came to me and said, "If you want to succeed, Leon, you need to work twice as hard." So I learned fast what I needed to do. Grading sparks in the lab lit up sparks in my brain. My life in a glimpse before the jump. This is who I am, always craving for the dunk. My sis says, "Leon, you're my hero." But when I look inside the mirror, I see just an ordinary man. But you know what? I can do the impossible.
Memories. They comfort us. Ground us. Develop us. Define us. Some we cherish, others we bury. But they are ours. And how we choose to live with them is no one's decision but our own.
Hi survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series North America. I am Clover, joined tonight by Span Cargo. And Span, we are here for day 2 of Group Stage, the first week. This is going to be the first chance that we get to see Groups C and D play. I know you tuned in, watched a little bit yesterday with Groups A and B. What did you think?
I gotta say, I think there's a bit of a high expectation coming into this one because there's already kind of a shelf in points. First, second, and third right now are very high above the teams below them. So I'm kind of curious to see if teams in C and D will be able to catch up or even get that massive number of 109 points just in 6 games today.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the overall standings on the leaderboard so we can see how the groups yesterday did. And then we're going to kind of shake things up a bit today. As you guys can see on the entire right-hand side, all those teams with zeros, those are the teams that are going to be playing 6 matches today. Everybody on the left-hand side got their games in yesterday. They will sit out, but they'll return next week as they shake things up again. But as I said, La Bahia, they got 109 points. They had phenomenal games yesterday. They pretty much brought their A game for, I think, 5 of the 6. Making it into the late game. And Validos, another instance of just constantly being up, present in the late game, getting a lot of kills. Club 90, also really good. They had a few low point, 0 point games, and it cost them a little bit. But from some other teams, they took a while to warm up, and that's where we saw things change it up. So for the teams today, it's kind of what we're looking for. We're seeing who comes in hot to start, who has that consistency throughout the day, and who obviously finishes strong at the end of 6 matches. But before we get too far, let's take another brief overview of the format so you can see what it took for teams to get here. As you can see, we had our qualifiers there on the far left side. We started with 192 teams, and we've made it all the way down to 24 here in the group stage. We'll be playing for 3 weeks with 2 days each week. And then after the end, last chance qualifier for any teams that don't automatically qualify for the grand final will have one last chance to try to get their place into the grand final because we've got quite a lot of money on the board.
Yeah, just a $50,000 total prize pool for that grand final. I mean, first place going away with the most of it, 12,500, and all the way down to 11th through 12th place with 1,000. I mean, I'm looking forward to see who's going to be in those top places, but also to see who's going to get those bounties. I think that's really interesting bounties that they put on the board.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering how some teams have already been playing through the group stage. La Bahia definitely looks like they could potentially be in the running going into grand finals given their performance. I mean, you can see just the overall kills. La Bahia had 2 of the top players, and Validos also had 2 of the top players for this. Domi saw a lot of people cheering for Domi in chat yesterday for Club 90 as well. And it just shows how aggressive these players have been after only 1 day. We've still got multiple days left to play. The lobbies are going to start being mixed around a bit so that every team is going to have the opportunity to play each other at least once. So moving forward, while a team might have a good week or good day, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that that's how they're going to play the following week.
Exactly, especially since right now, this first week, I think is going to be the most chaotic. This is where these lobbies are the newest to each other. So yesterday was AB. Today is going to go ahead and be CD. They haven't played against each other just yet, this lobby specifically. And so they don't quite know how each other are going to play just yet. You know, next week, they're going to have a little bit more information because they'll be able to see what they did this first week.
Yeah, we've already had some metas starting to form. We had teams that always held on to the edge, tried to avoid conflict until the later rings in the game, and then likewise, some teams just land at center, hot dropped, and tried to play aggressive throughout the game. In La Bahia, they picked fights and they won those fights, whereas some teams like Red Falcons were picking fights but were struggling to come out of it. So, but with that, guys, the yellow screen is up, and that means we're about 30 seconds away from the first game. We are going to play 2 games each, on each map, starting with Bermuda. Then we're going to go to Kalahari and Purgatory for the day. So I'm really excited.
So am I. I can't wait to get started and watch what's going to happen, especially since I already said it. These guys haven't played each other just yet. So I'm expecting some interesting plays. I want to see who's going to come out on top.
Absolutely. We might get some hot drops to start off, or maybe teams play a little conservative, give each other a breathing room, but we'll find out here in just a few seconds to see who will get our first booyah for the lobbies C and D and the Free Fire Pro Series North America, day 2 of our group stage. And there we go, our nice little flyby here of the map, and everybody in the plane. Here we go.
Okay, it looks like we got a nice central plane pass so far, going straight across the map. Okay, yesterday you did tell me, Clover, that nobody ended up going for that little blue zone over there to try and get that high tier loot. So kind of curious to see if anybody in this lobby is going to go on ahead and do that today. But otherwise, seems like everybody's spread out so far. We're halfway done with everybody dropping.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like R15 might potentially be a first team to go for. We can see them already passing by Clock Tower. It looks like Hanger might actually be the play, and there's nobody else really challenging them for that position to start just yet. So elsewhere, it looks like most teams have a little bit of a breathing room, but we might have a potential fight here in Shipyard, as it looks like 2 teams landing. Oh, 3 teams, excuse me,
Wow.
landing to share the zone here. Oh, this is definitely going to be a bloodbath. I can't see all of them walking out of here.
No, definitely not. Especially that team in the center right now. That is the team I would want to be the least because they're completely surrounded. There we go. Already starting off the first couple of shots. C7 is not looking too good. Nosy are immediately finding a gun, is able to do some damage. There we go. First blood. And of course, already seeing some of those time turners come into play immediately. Gotta save their down teammates. But oh my goodness, it's just so much chaos.
I mean, Ravkush was putting in a lot of work there, but as you saw, just could not return it. So Japro's already down 2 players. But, I mean, C7, the one that we kind of talked about being in a difficult position, is actually able to recover quite well, get the reses off, and pop all 4 players back up and alive. And meanwhile, the rest of the players in the area have already backed off. They've given them some breathing room here. HR completely pulled out of Shipyard. They went off to the east. And you can see already looking to cross the bridge. They just want to give themselves as much space and time to kind of get ready before the first ring starts to close.
I mean, that's usually the best thing to do right off of the bat, right when they're jumping. They want to go ahead and make sure they're not with anybody so that they can actually get the loot on up, because otherwise things like that are going to happen. It's going to be whoever finds the weapons first, and then everybody else is just some free shoots, you know? Everybody's just going to be taken down really easy. Oh,
this is not the place to, to pull away to hide, but it actually looks like Maxima is just going to let Freestyle have Bullseye for right now. I mean, they've pretty much got their looting done. And a big problem with landing Bullseye, and I saw this yesterday as well, teams like to start off here, but oftentimes those circles are really far south, and you could be chasing the zone for the rest of the day. So SKB pulling off as early as they are isn't necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean that they're not ready to fight JP, but they are thinking about what's ahead. I mean, the thing about Battle Royales is, in a way, it's a game of chess. You're always not only thinking about the players around you, but where those next zones could be going. And you want to get yourself in that good position to start.
Exactly. That's why people usually want to go on ahead, go towards that center side. And I was surprised to see so many people kind of going towards the edge for this one. But it looks like another fight kind of breaking out here. Looks like Blue going to go ahead and take down another person. Same with the Tallow. Oh, Esteban even from afar with the long range. It looks like the team right below him, I mean, kind of in a bull right now, might have a little bit of difficulty getting away, but they at least have some hard cover. Esteban doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He's just going to go on ahead and run away for now.
Yeah, Northblood really going after this center position versus Team Butcher. And you can see right now Team Butcher's kind of stuck down here in a bowl, at SKB, who we saw leave early on, just starting to close that distance now. But Esteban stuck out behind a tree in the open. You can see the glue walls starting to pop up right now as the Butchers really trying to get as close as they can here and try and just eliminate Northblood, let themselves have this center position and not have to vie for it. The circle is going to close, we can see in the mini-map, and it actually is going to be pulling farther south from here, which is what we've started to see more and more with Bermuda. There you go. Nice shooting out of TBT.
And another destruction of that glue wall. They already got the knock, so they just have to go on ahead and confirm that kill. And spotting out another one. I mean, at this point, Minya over there is definitely outnumbered, but at least they still have a couple more glue walls before anything else happens. So we can see in the distance their other teammate Boss might be coming, but Minya for right now is completely alone, and that means that Natha is just going to go on ahead and get that down. Instant flush. Interested to see if the rest of the team, like if Boss is just going to turn around at this point, because I don't think it's worth it.
No, the best play, I think, for Boss is doing exactly what they're doing right now, wrapping around the outer edge of the ring and just trying to find an empty part of the zone to play from and maybe look for some late-game kills. Now, you can see the circle did take that hard shift down to the south. We still got part of Sentosa Island in fact, quite a lot of Sentosa in. So Fuego all the way down there, we can see in the southeast, playing that position just on the other side of the zip line from TDM. Meanwhile, TM actually has a really nice position in center. So Oftentimes we'll see teams fight for Peak, but with the circle going so far south, Peak is really on the edge of zone.
I'd also like to point out that R15 that originally went for that blue zone there, they ended up leaving, going to Observatory, and at the same time, basically IT official went on ahead and traded place with them. So R15 decided to go away from that zone while IT officials going towards it. So a little bit of interesting play style here. I wonder if R15 is kind of going around the circle right now and trying to find people to take fights with, but everybody else is trying to just make it towards that first circle for right now.
I mean, this is a very interesting contrast to the games yesterday because we're already 6 minutes in and we still have all 12 teams alive. We are down to 41 players, but it looks like teams are being more cautious. You know, they're getting into some fights, and if they feel themselves in a position where they're not going to come out on top, or maybe down to, as we've seen a few times now, 1 or 2 players left. Trying to get those players into a place to safely play into the late game. You know, they're not giving up just yet. They're still thinking about the scoring opportunities. And speaking of scoring opportunities, great shooting right now from TDM, taking down a member of Fuego. The rest of the team players are going to drop, though. They don't want to take any chances here on the zip lines. And here comes the push.
Yeah, they were waiting for this, and Fuego walked right into it. Looks like the rest does come through anyway, though. Still, it was super low HP, that one member of Fuego, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to get it down onto one of the members from TDM right here. The rest of Fuego is trying to spread out, it seems, but I mean, the team above them, they still have the high ground. So we're going to see if Fuego can get out of here using all of their glue walls. At this point, I don't know if they're going to have enough to get out of the position that they have, but it looks like Fuego, wait a second, they flipped the script. Calvin somehow getting up on top.
That's a good use of high ground right now there onto Fuego to try to keep that pressure onto TM Dominicans, but you can see Domini switching his point of view over as well to try to keep that pressure onto Fuego. But at the same time, trapped. I mean, with the way that the spread that you see Fuego has, they left 2 players down a little bit low at the same level as TDM, that kind of given them nowhere else to go. It's such a far drop-off beyond this cliffside. They've got nowhere else to go except towards Fuego.
How did Team Dominican let this happen? I'm so surprised that Fuego is able to just run around them at this point, because now they have the high ground, the upper hand in this situation that Dominican originally had. So, I mean, we'll have to see if they'll be able to get out of this. They didn't use any of their utility as much as Fuego, but it looks like they're already out. There we go, 2 down. Oh, third one about to go down as well, but at least he's able to get out of sight for a second here. We can see that Josh, he's just pushing. He knows that there's somebody close by. Oh, but they didn't quite spot him just yet. They ended up looking the complete wrong way. Maybe Kathleen will be able to get out of this then.
Oh, yeah, you can see, I mean, if Fuego is really looking out in every direction, we saw Falco get redeployed there, but it looks like Kurama is going to get away for now, and I think Fuego doesn't want to give up their position as well. They don't want to overextend Chase. They know that there's 1 player left alive, but given how this circle's going, this is still a good position to continue holding. Now, we know from our point of view, there's nobody else in Sentosa, but that doesn't mean that Fuego should get at this position just yet. That could be a very strong, dominant position to play from the south. Meanwhile, from the north, we can see Onu actually has been split up quite a bit. Prince and Mario, both on either side of HR. It's going to take a while before we might be able to see them caught back up. And meanwhile, JP also tanking just a little bit outside the ring. So we're going to have some players coming in a little bit bruised and damaged from the northern side here as the circles continues to close.
Yeah, they're very much split up, and we can even see the HRs now making their push on in. I assume it was going to be them that ended up making that split happen. Yeah, look at that, 2 kills already underneath their belt to add to their leaderboard for this match. As of right now, there's nobody around them. They're completely okay. They just made it inside zone, so honestly, they're probably just chilling out, waiting to see if they can hear anything in front of them, since this is their first time just inside of the zone. Other people have been here for a while, so they're already set up. So HR obviously going to take it a little bit cautiously, at least at first, until they know just how far that they can go.
And we can even see as well, IT a little bit spread out, but you've got so many other teams all in this area, and this could be a little bit of a high-risk reward, but it actually looks like they will be rewarded as the circle is going to hard shift away from Sentosa, away from Mars Electric and the water, and right on top of them. Now, they've got a couple zip lines in the area, and so playing this hillside could definitely give them a possibility, as we kind of saw earlier, teams taking that zip line to try to travel closer to the center and take some shots out in that direction. But they've still got a couple other teams in the area. And so another thing that I'm kind of curious, though, you know, as we can see there in the mini map, is we still have the last playing member of TM Dominican. who's still kind of being hunted by Fuego. They're now rotated through Mars Electric, but they're in a good position to intercept, it looks like Kurama, the last player for TDM.
Honestly, I feel like Kurama should just continue to be as far away from the current zone as possible. Just go along the current ring and just go as far north as possible. I mean, I know that isn't the best idea since he doesn't know what is up there, but I think that would probably be the safest, at least to get away from Fuego. Fuego definitely knows that he exists. At least the teams in front of Kurama don't know that he'd be coming from that direction. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It looks like Fuego is in fact kind of on the hunt for now. Meanwhile, SKV a little bit further inside zone. They're finally making it inside, and IT, who has set themselves up on top of this hill since the very beginning, has spotted them out, already doing a little bit of damage. Curious to see, are they going to push, or are they just going to wait for the ring to do it for them, make them come a little closer?
Yeah, SKB really seems like they've been trying to play the edge. There's been a couple instances now where we've seen them a little bit close to combat, but they haven't really investigated. They haven't sent a player to kind of see what's been going on. They're really just waiting for that opportunity in the later game to engage. But unfortunately, as you said, did get one member caught out. And speaking of being caught out, Kurama finally has been spotted by Fuego. The problem here is that you've got JP driving on through, and that's now taken the attention away from Kurama, though Josh Verse still in the area. Kurama might actually fall to the zone here, but no, it actually is going to be Axel that gets credit for the kill.
Fuego really wanted that one, but now it looks like Nazi from JP is making a push anyway, and unfortunately it does not quite work out. I mean, Fuego would gladly go on ahead and take that point for themselves as well, and that just means that they still need to push towards that zone. Luckily, R15 already moved out of factory. And now we're just back to SKB. Looks like they're not faring too well. Half of them being taken out by who we assume is going to be IT. Let's see if they're going to be able to hide from the situation and instead fighting another solo. So many glue walls.
I mean, you can see Maxima almost had the angle here onto Freestyle, but those glue walls just keep going up. He's got to run out eventually, but you can see right off in the background, there's still more teams moving in the area, and Maxima does connect just a little bit there. Freestyle gets taken down by Jordy, but Duro and the rest of SKB have to get picked back up, but no, it's too late. SKB is eliminated. C7 actually had an angle here.
Wow, C7 gladly is going to go on ahead and walk up on that in third party. That was so unfortunate. That glue wall was not touching the ground. I think that could have saved Freestyle if he had placed it on the floor, but unfortunately it was not. So he's going to go on ahead and be taken out. And yeah, it's too much noise. This is where the circle is small enough where that third party will start to happen. People are too close to each other to not pass that up at this point. Zone closing once again. And interestingly enough, I mean, it's really just Team Butcher that's now up on top of that hill mainly.
I mean, this could potentially end itself in a very open area, King of the Hill style for this first match. Something that, talking about glue walls, teams need to be ready coming into those later fights in open areas with utility. I mean, Calvin right here, only down to 5 glue walls. And as he comes up on the rest of, it looks like TM and R15 all here in Pochinoke, they've got to be real careful because you can see that hill right ahead of it. I mean, it gets really steep. You've got a couple of trees, some rocks, a little bit of power lines to play from, but there's so many open angles. They've got to be able to defend themselves from each and every direction. Speaking of defending themselves, Onu almost closing the gap here. Remember, they got split from High Religion earlier. Still haven't been able to re-meet Prince. Trapped out here right now and unable to join Mario, who's just further down to the southeast.
As a solo, definitely wanting to try and kind of just skirt underneath the observation from the team right in front of them. Kind of a scary position for Prince to be in, but High Religion, we'll have to wait and see if they're going to kind of sniff him out in this situation is by that crate. I mean, that's clearly already looted. It looks, no, they definitely know, but they're just going to wait for that blue zone, that ring to push them in a little bit further. Meanwhile, the fight happening down up towards that northwestern side. We were waiting for this to happen. C7 was waiting to come into zone, and IT still holding the same position. Seems to be holding them out now, and now they're going to start taking some damage.
Yeah, Dariel really in a position right now to kind of be the only player up. He's not in a safe spot to get that res onto his teammate just yet. You can see it's almost a bait situation, and IT doesn't quite have to move from this position. In fact, now that the circle's closed, you can see on the minimap, they do have to, but they still have the high ground. They still have the hill. The biggest thing that's kind of been holding them back is Team 11, TBT, just beyond them right now. And so they've got to be a little careful. You can see kind of waiting until the ring starts to close before they take that move.
Exactly. At this point, since it is like on the very side of a hill, I think everybody's gonna kind of wait to be forced to go into this next zone, because otherwise they kind of just want to stay up on top of that plateau for as long as possible. You can see High Religion kind of doing it as well, starting to make a move on down. They're going to be running into Fuego though, and another solo from Onu. It's Mario over there, and it looks like it's already starting. Glue walls are going down, the bullets are being traded, and it looks like High Religion wants to start it off strong. Oh no, one of them almost went down, but they're still going to be pushing. Fuego, in the meantime, they're starting to go ahead. Wait, did I not see it?
Oh my gosh, that is great use of camouflage there. Unfortunately for Eric, the rest of Fuego was no longer behind their glue walls, so he tries to close in that gap. You can see so many teams right now trying to wrap around, get an angle onto this fight.
Nice usage of that shotgun. This is closer range, right on top of each other. High Religion. Let's see if they're going to take this away, because it's just Axel over there left. Let's see if Patel could do it. No, that 2v1 didn't quite work out. High Religion will be eliminated. The new kill leader goes to Fuego as well, interestingly enough. And meanwhile, another fight is happening over on the complete opposite side of the zone. R15 is going to be taking a fight with IT, and it's not looking too good. There's only one left.
Triple kill.
Crazy thing to me is that we've had a couple of solos try and stay alive and wrap around, but it's starting to drop like flies here. I think Mario actually is also still alive for Team Onu. And you can see, there we go. It actually is Northblood popping off. So, you know, Bestia right now as well. Another solo that's left alive. But TBT still has managed to hold on to the high ground. Those glue walls, though, you know they've got to be running a little bit low on them. Strong down to just 2, but the nades coming out, that utility, trying to keep that pressure there onto Fuego. And actually getting a little bit of help here from TM as Calvin gets taken out.
And we can see that, I mean, oh man, Team Butcher is really trying to use that higher ground onto Fuego to their advantage. Oh, a couple more bullets coming in from Strong, and it looks like Fuego will be eliminated just like that. So now we're just down to a couple more teams left. This zone is moving very, very quickly. I mean, TM is all the way down there on the very southern side. Mario could potentially mess this game up for them. This solo still has a lot of power to do a ton of damage to the remainder of this team. And it looks like it's happening. 2 of them go down. Oh no, but Mario at least goes down. But I think that might be it for Team Monkey. This is not good.
I mean, Rubio is trying to get those reses off. Unfortunately, even though he picked up Monkey, it was just took too much damage from the ring. And there you go, Team Butcher eliminated. It's down to just a 1v1. IT official, though.
Wow.
There you go. We'll see who that last winner was, because the booyah for the first game has come out. And I mean, just what a wild place, man.
I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen there, because usually the high ground is obviously the best, but Team Money did have that little building back there with the fence that they did have some cover. And I mean, it did end up coming down to a 1v1 quite surprisingly. I really thought it was just going to be the teams that are up on top of that plateau that are just going to go ahead and win it off from some taking shots from far away.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think as well, we had so many teams that were playing really careful in the beginning. You know, we talked about those quick kills that were popping off. I thought, oh my gosh, no, a squad elimination is going to happen. And then no, like the one remaining survivor would break off. And so to see so many solos in the end, I mean, Mario for Onu really almost took it away from Team Money, right? We saw him take 2 of those players down. Only Rubio still left alive. So it was just absolute chaos to start. And that's exactly what we were looking for coming into this first matchup for this lobby.
Definitely exceeded expectations. So far, that was a good start, I will say. It was there was perfect enough chaos, I will say, especially on the first initial drops. Everybody was still far enough that it wasn't completely horrible as well. And then, yeah, we got to see a lot of good fights coming in there. And, oh man, I always talk about the power of solos, so I'm sorry. I loved seeing that solo going ahead and do that to Team Money. I'm sure that Team Money is obviously not happy about that, though.
Well, and here we go, our kill and point leaders for the first match of the day. It is Team Money that walked away with the booyah. They get 15 points, only 3 kills, kept it a little bit conservative till the end. IT Official and Team Butcher, though, 7 kills apiece. Team Fuego with a whopping 11 kills.
Wow.
That's going to make things really tight for the top of the leaderboard for the day for these teams. But it's a good start to see if they can play catch up. Because remember, at the end of the day, we're going to combine the leaderboards for yesterday and today, and we'll see who the overall week leaders are. It is going to get itself a little bit close. There you go. Last game kills in top is actually Axel and Sanjix that were kind of tight there for 5 apiece. Calvin with 4, and Blue and Natha with 3 each.
We could definitely tell that Fuego was going to be up there. I feel like that they were fighting teams from the very beginning. They're the ones that got into one of the first altercations, not including the hot drop for the looting phase. But after that, they just started chasing people. It felt like it's like after that first altercation at that zip line, they just kept running straight at people. So to see Fuego up there with that amount of kills, I'm not surprised that they have 11, and not surprised to see that they're in second overall so far.
Yeah. And again, I mean, when you get those King of the Hill situations, it can be a little bit tough to get caught out in the open. That's what cost Fuego. It's what cost Team
Mhm.
Butcher as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we do as we go back into Bermuda again. But not a bad start for a whole bunch of teams here for the first game of the day. But we've got 5 more to go. 1 more on Bermuda, and then 2 apiece on Kalahari and Purgatory.
I'm really looking forward to see who's going to be able to go on ahead and catch up and get 109 points as well just off of the first day. So I'm looking at these couple of teams that are already towards the top. I want to see if they're going to continue to grab that amount of points in every single game, and if they can catch up to that.
Yeah. Something else too, I'm really quickly noticing. I mean, the amount of action
Mhm.
that TM Dominican had, the amount of damage that they got, I think even a few knocks to come out of that game with 0 kills. It's a heartbreaking start, but this is
Ooh.
definitely a team I think to keep eyes on going forward today. I think they might actually surprise us and jump pretty high up on the leaderboard.
I do think that their initial fight on that zip line, like they were holding that for a reason. They knew that there's somebody down to the southern side on that island. Like that was a really good idea and decision. It was just unfortunate that they didn't stay to the top of the hill. They let Fuego get above them, and that's where it went downhill for them. So like it was a good idea. Next time, I want to see them be able to execute it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And then, elsewhere too, High Religion, again, another team that we saw keeping that pressure on ONU, split up Mario and Prince together. They only had 2 kills, 5 points. But again, I really liked the way they were playing the zone, the way that they were playing the teams around them. I just think that they almost maybe tunnel visioned their attention a little bit too much onto what was going on with the last of ONU. And it unfortunately I think cost them their focus on some of the other squads in the area as the rings begin to get tighter. So another team to watch going forward to the next match, as well as, I mean, again, the winners, right? Team Money.
Mhm.
Yes, that was a low scoring game, but they had a really good positioning throughout. They kept themselves center of the zone. They had a really nice compound to play from, and then coming out there at the very end, able to clutch that booyah.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to go on ahead and be able to balance both that placement and the kills. So it looks like Money went on ahead and focused a little bit more on their macro this time. They only got 3 kills, but next time we'll see if they'll be able to get a little bit of both. Another booyah, maybe a little bit more kills as well.
Hmm. And then, all right, guys, so we're just waiting for the last of the few teams to join the lobby. We'll get game 2 underway, and I'm excited. It's just every time we get a new matchup, every time we get a new lobby, we are. I mean, you just talked about the macros. There's the macros. There's the meta. There's everything that we're really learning about the way that these teams will play against each other, especially coming from the open stage lobbies, where you can have a little bit more contrasting in terms of the talent. The farther you get into a series, the more concentrated that talent becomes, the harder the lobbies get, and the more careful some of these teams will start to be. And so when we begin a group stage, a lot of teams are going to play a little bit more careful. They're going to kind of, poke the bear with the stick before they come charging in. And so I think that that's kind of what we saw this first match. And, kind of even thinking back to the fact that we closed the first ring and all 12 teams were still up in some form or fashion. So I'm curious if that might change a little bit, if people might turn it up, the aggression just a little bit going into this next match, or if we're going to see a bit of the same thing, teams playing a little more careful.
That's true. I mean, it's usually one or the other, right? It's either everybody plays very careful, or then some teams decide that they're going to be very aggressive, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes they get absolutely smacked down, and then they realize, hey, we can't do that in this stage anymore. So this time it did seem like they're a little bit more careful, especially those teams up towards the northern side. I'm not surprised. Like they started off dropping on a couple of teams. Like after that, I would take it a little bit more cautiously. And you're right. Let's see if they're going to continue to be that cautious, or now playing the same map again, if they're going to play that a little bit more differently now that they kind of have a little bit of a better idea where people tend to go.
Yeah, and we had that one hot drop to start yesterday, so we'll see if we get another, or excuse me, a hot drop to start this last match. We'll see if we have another hot drop to go, because as you can see, guys, the yellow is on the screen. That means that match 2 is about to begin here in just a moment as we go back into Bermuda one more time for the evening. Get these teams Another chance to play. We'll see if we get a repeat Booyah, if Team Money can put a second one in the bag, or if Fuego, if Team Butcher, or one of these other teams really came out with a really good performance up until the end, can clutch their first Booyah. We'll find out here in just a moment as we wait for teams to get in the plane and get that game started.
I already said it. I think what I'm going to be looking forward to this game is Team Dominican. I want to see them execute a plan like they attempted this first match. So that's who I'm going to be taking an eye at the entire rest of this next match.
Absolutely. I know it just absolutely it blindsided me to see them come out of that game with 0 points because I swear I had seen so much more action from but I mean that's kind of the issue too with this. You got to make sure you secure your kills. Don't let somebody else take your kills away from you. Don't let those reses pop off. You got to make sure you pick up those points because as we saw even yesterday, it came down to in many cases just 1 or 2 wins away to keep those teams' placement. But this time the flight path coming in from the north down to the south, blue zone out there in Sentosa. On Shipyard Bullseye, it looks like this time C7 is not going to have to fight any other team for it. They're going to get it for free this time. And it actually looks like, for the most part, most teams are kind of giving each other a breathing room. We might potentially see something happen down here to the south as we just had 3 teams jump out of the plane at the same time. Looks like 2 squads going for Sentosa. And then potentially, nope, it looks like HR is going to continue on to Mars Electric, JP falling just a bit short. So might have 1 or 2 fights to start. We'll see here.
Oh, that's actually interesting. I'd like to point out all the way down there on the southern side, like Fuego went to that island, Sentosa, last match just right off the bat, and R15, they went for the blue zone, and it looks like they're going for the blue zone once again. So I think R15 might be a team that actually just goes and targets the blue zone every single time. And first blood there. Looks like TBT is going to go on ahead and get 1 kill down because there were those 2 conflicting drops so far.
Ooh, yeah, and you can see R15 right now just really focusing on getting set up and I think trying to get a little bit of distance to Fuego, but you can see just the eyes right there. Fuego constantly looking up towards R15, seeing if they want to take that push up there into Sentosa proper or just keep down to the southern edge. Because, I mean, as we saw, Fuego was a high kill, high aggressive team last game, but there's a bit of a risk taking a fight on that early into the match. You know, you don't want to take on a fight without as much resources or utility. You can see just 2 glue walls right now for Doba, and I imagine most of R15 is probably at the same as well as Fuego, but for now, I think that fight not gonna happen, and it looks like the only other team that might potentially fight have also kind of broken off from each other, so hopefully maybe this is going to be another game where teams are going to keep it a little bit more cautious until they've got the resources to start taking on.
I mean, that always gives for more interesting fights later on, in my opinion, because that's when everybody obviously has all the utility, all the guns, anything they could possibly want. And then they could take the fights however they want, you know? So, like, if they have the loot that they definitely are good with using, then those fights later are going to be a little bit more interesting to see. It's going to be a little bit harder for both sides. And that's what I prefer instead of like the chaotic hot dropping. So I like that everybody kind of figured out to stay away from each other. And now we get to wait and see where that first altercation is really going to be popping off.
Absolutely, especially as we wait for that first circle to pop. We should get it here in just a moment. I mean, there's no point wasting time or resources fighting if you're not even going to be in the circle. So we wait for that first ring to show itself up here on the map. We'll kind of get an idea. Last time, remember, it was very down to the southeast. We had all of Sentosa in that first ring. So it's going to be interesting to see how this circle goes. But already, story of Sentosa, R15, like you said, chasing the blue. They did it last game. They landed here as well. Fuego had Sentosa for ring 1 last game. They went ring 1 for Sentosa again this time. And they're kind of having to play defense against R15.
Yeah, I guess R15, like we said, it is just like the blue zone. Now they're starting to run away. It looks like they're trying to maybe make a wraparound on Fuego, but Fuego is already kind of waiting for that. I was interested to see if maybe one of them was going to go and start holding off the zip lines or maybe the bridge or something, but instead they're going to be running into each other all the way on the bottom side of that little island there. Now R15 is just, it's not worth it. They're just going to run away up to the northern side, and it looks like Fuego is kind of deciding to give chase, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Fuego does have that zip line that could drop them off just outside of Mars Electric. And R15 has not only 2 bridges, but 3 zip lines up to the north as well. So a lot of access to get across the water should they want it. But, I mean, Fuego still out here in the blue zone as well. So there's a lot of spaces, a lot of ways that they could play this. And I think looking back on just the previous match even, taking this first ring a little bit slower and then working their way forward, you've got to think as well what's happening on the mainland. With a circle like this, they know that they've eventually do have to cross the water. And so that's kind of the risk reward of deciding whether or not to stay and fight, knowing that R15 could potentially be on their backside or just heading for the zone. But speaking of teams ready to fight, we talked about it during the break. TDM, we saw them there for a moment, hoping to see it again. And Team Money running right onto Factory here. This is always really tricky for the teams that come in when Factory is already occupied. You've got JP up on the catwalks. That could make TM a bit vulnerable, but they're being careful on the push right now. Ruby actually getting a nice opening knock there onto Nosy.
I don't think JP realized whatsoever. Meanwhile, obviously, Rubio was ready for that when one goes down. Looks like the res already came through, though. JP instantly trying to back up. There we go, some glue walls already, but it's a little bit too late. Here we go, Team Money already inside of the factory. They're trying to spot out these enemy team members. JP's trying to back up as well. And they're just trying to back off right now. They're trying to go find that advantageous position that Team Money has kind of found themselves in. And oh, Ravesh, I'm kind of concerned that he's just trying to go up. He's kind of going to be stuck up there.
I mean, this could be a nice roof to play from with the circle being on Factory for now. But if the circle harshes in any direction, like you're saying, they could find themselves stuck up on the roof, depending on whether Team Money or even another team rotate in here to Factory. This is a bit of a high prio compound in the way that the zone's behaving. But for right now, like I was saying, JP really just taking up to the top of the catwalks, giving themselves as much breathing room as possible. And TM Rubio actually going out. He's just keeping a watchful eye to see where the remaining players of Job Pros are, and whether or not any of them might be trying to come back down. They can jump off the roof and still survive, though you will take quite a lot of damage. So something to keep in mind here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just hunkering down and waiting it out for right now. Maybe they're hoping that another team will come third party this, or at least Japros is trying to figure out their next steps. You can already see all the weapons are definitely being drawn. They're trying to spot them out, but it's just going to be a little bit of a hold for right now. Meanwhile, oh, there we go. The danger zone is going to appear. That means MB, they have to go ahead and find themselves in a little bit of a safer place. They're just playing the center, it seems. That's where they want to be playing for right now. And at this point, I think we're only missing 3 teams outside of this first circle, this first ring. So we get to wait and see who's going to go towards the center as well. We can already see actually TBT is also kind of running towards NB's spot.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, again, we've talked about the teams that choose to play the edge and the teams that send it straight to circle. It looks like with this lobby, we're seeing more and more teams try to take that earlier chance getting as center a zone as possible. And even with the risk of a danger zone, NB is actually not going to move from this, but you can see C7 starting to close in on that location as well, so they need to be a little bit mindful. Meanwhile, outside of Mars Electric, Team Money, who managed to leave Factory, let JP fully recover, is now walking up onto another potential fight situation as High Religion is just about to cross the street in this position, as well as R15, who left Sentosa.
Uh-oh, yep, they're now in Pochinok. Looks like Team Money is making a run towards that as well. Let's see, though. C7, they're kind of up on top because they're about to be running in a fight of their own, even further up to the northern side. Okay, so there's like a couple of teams kind of congesting now up to the northern side, which is what we're seeing right here, and a little bit further down to the south. Yeah, there's so many teams just on this one building. How does this happen? This is not going to be good. At least 1 or 2 teams is about to be eliminated just from this.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is so clustered, you can barely see right now. You've got 3 teams in one building, but it's going to be Boss that gets the opening knock there on to Kelvin. So, ONU already have a player flushed out of this. Remember, Mario and Prince got completely separated last game. So this is the closest we've really gotten to see them play together. The problem is that they're surrounded with 2 other teams right now inside this building. It actually looks like NB are still not quite pushing this. I think they're trying to decide whether or not they want to continue engaging into this fight. And the rest of ONU also trying to help their teammates out. You can't just leave either. You've got teams watching the windows upstairs.
Yeah, but it's just down to Prince and Mario. They're trying to run away. It's not quite successful.
Oh, a danger zone.
Oh, so low. It's not looking good. Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to get away, even if it means through a danger zone. And it looks like they're in the next building. There's still at least 2 teams inside of this building, if I'm not mistaken. And it does look like North Blood is not getting involved just yet. But here we go, Fuego. We know that they're aggressive, and here comes C7. It looks like one's going to go down. We can see the shotgun being used already, throwing down a ton of time turners. Oh, using that for a little bit of cover, and then the scythe comes through as well. Let's see who's coming out on top, because C7 still has 2 people up at this point. And it looks
Ricky,
like
that grenade
now
could be good. Oh, Ricky actually is going to get a knock there with that grade. Papadiso gets taken down. It's just up to Daryl and Ricky right now for C7. Try to keep the dream alive. You can see the glue walls continuing to pop off as they're giving themselves just a little bit of a breather to heal back up. The nade's back out again. Looks like it is not going to connect right around the corner. Just waiting. Actually has a pan out, seeing if some melee, and I know we saw some shotguns and SMGs out into play as well. Anything great for these close quarter combats?
For a second there, I was like, there's too many glue walls. I can't see. But yeah, now Onu still alive downstairs as well. Looks like Prince and Mario have decided that they want to come back and get involved with the action. And they're about to peek around this corner that has C7. Looks like they're still using glue walls, though. They're going to be safer now. But oh my goodness, no way. Prince completely out in the open. Both tossed down a glue wall, though. Both of them a little bit scared after seeing each other for a hot second. And Mario, once again, is pushing straight in towards C7. I mean, this could also be the opening that Team Butcher can continue to use to get involved. And yeah, they do. They run right on top of each other in the same little building. Their Team Butcher is actually eliminated, and so is C7. I can't believe Onu, a 2-man, came back and won that.
I mean, Prince and Mario, the 2 players that were separated all last game, coming together and pulling off miracles. They are not done yet. This building is the dead center of the zone. We had that circle change during that fight, and so all the rest of the teams that are out here to the south, Pochnoke, we've talked about some of the fights that had happened here earlier. It's about to get even more crowded now as this has become the edge zone. You can see so many squads out here in this area. Team Money, R15, Job Pros, even High Religion, all right here outside of town.
IT as well, kind of holding. It's kind of Team Money and IT kind of holding the northernest side of the city, and everybody else is definitely going to have to be making a move towards them. Maybe they'll be in control of a third party that comes through, but first it looks like R15 has realized, Job Pros are on top of us. Time to start shooting towards them and doing some damage. And Nade's coming through as well, already getting some knocks.
I mean, this has really just been the fight of buildings time and time again. You can see R15 right now taking out those glue walls, trying to use those throwables. But as this fight's going on, High Religion's using that as a perfect opportunity to try to third-party this fight. It looks like they are going to get a flush stolen away there onto JP. And other knocks are coming out, but High Religion being a little careful. They're not yet crossing the street. And remember, just to the north, Team Money still in the area. We saw them keep their heads down last game. I'm curious if we're going to see that passive play from them again here, because this is such a good opportunity to capitalize on.
It really is. Jap Pros and R15 fully fighting now. There we go. Another goes down with that shotgun, but R15 instantly going to go ahead and get a trade. Jap Pros, let's see. To Kathy. Oh, Kathy was not ready for that. Freestyle is going to go ahead and take down another, and it looks like it's just down to him for Jap Pros. Meanwhile, R15 still has 2 left, Doba and Superman. Doba instantly chasing Freestyle. He just wants to get this over with. What is that? Oh, no, wait. Freestyle placing a perfectly placed nade. That was, oh my goodness, the trick of the century there.
I mean, you don't get to see minds go to play like that, but the fact that now we're down to not 1, but 2 solos, Superman, Freestyle, trying to stay up alive. HR in the zone just on the edge, but now not really in a scoring place. In fact, if anything, HR's biggest threat right now is Team Money, and you can see Eric kind of peeking around the windows, trying to see if we can spot opportunity to start taking shots there. And the circle, meanwhile, did hard shift back in this direction. So all these teams that have been in this town don't have to worry about it. But those teams we talked about earlier that were fighting up on this hill now have to not only worry about coming down from this position, but Fuego, who has rotated in, and Team Dominica not too far behind as well, as we can see them just starting to creep in on the minimap.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary here. Now, entire 4-man versus a duo, not looking good just because of that, but also now we know that it is Fuego. And just from one game, we know that Fuego, well, I mean, they're on fire. They're kind of scary here. So they're going to start pushing inside of this building because they're itching for a fight from what I can gather. And, I mean, TM Dominican, not just yet, but you're right. They could start hearing this commotion and decide to push on in here and get involved. Ooh, a nicely placed time turner. It looks like Jeremy, though, he has the shotgun out, and one goes down and shut down. Down goes Uno. Fuego. They took that away from there.
Absolutely. Uno's completely taken down, and as you can see now, the ring closing in. Dominica has no choice but to head for zone, and it looks like the zone is starting to push them towards Fuego. You can see just the myriad of colors ahead of them. The sights are out. They're trying to run as fast as possible, and I think we might potentially see this next fight off. Now, TM Dominica needs some kills on the board. Is this going to be the opportunity for them to do that?
I sure hope so. The thing is it is the people that they were met with last match. Fuego took them out last time. Will they be able to go ahead and get a little bit of revenge, reprove themselves? We'll see as it's starting now. Already a bunch of glue walls being placed down. TM Dominican probably was not ready for this whatsoever, but Fuego, of course, always ready for a fight, it seems. It looks like a couple knocks going back and forth so far very well on the side of Fuego, and that is going to be it, except for one person left. There we go, a couple of bullets, gonna throw down another glue wall, realizing they can't quite take that fight with so many members of Fuego right in front of him. That was almost so close. That glue wall perfectly placed at that time.
A great quadro kill there. You can see Fuego now sitting on 6 in total, and they've almost completely melted out Team Dominica. One last player. He's been spotted, though. Axel with the shotgun out, and TM Dominica is eliminated. But now in B, pushed out. They heard the commotion. They've got this zone, and they've got the line of sight onto Fuego. This is unfortunately how Fuego went last match. Caught up on an open hillside, almost in this exact area last game. You can see those glue walls starting to come out, but they've got no choice. They've got to bully and be out of this position if they want any chance moving forward in the circle.
That is very true. North Blood and Fuego are about to go against each other now, and I think I can even see some bullets being thrown over there by Team Money, but instantly this is a hot area to be in, and it looks like Fuego is not doing too well. North Blood, they're fresh in this fight. It's Fuego, who's already been in a couple. North Blood doing so well, but wait a second, 2 of North Blood goes down. Another one. Wait a second. Team Money is in fact getting involved and takes down Boss.
A nice shooting out from Rubio. You can see one player still of Fuego Uziel is still up alive. Skullbreaker, meanwhile, also gets, it looks like some eliminated, taken out from IT that we can see just down there below. And so everybody that had come off the hillside, it's down to just one player. The teams, though, inside Potion Oak still fighting. This time they need to fight to get in the circle. Team Money. Oh, it took a little bit too long. They dropped their guard, and now HR pushing into their compound.
At least it is a 3v4, it seems. No, Monkey actually goes down, so it's back to a 3v3. Let's see if they're going to be able to succeed against this high religion team. Otherwise, they're not inside of this next zone. IT is the only team that is, and if they start picking up that a fight is happening over here, they're going to go on ahead and go right to the edge of zone to potentially hold these guys out. So we'll see. Team Money, they know that they have to get rid of high religion quickly, and they're starting to swarm the building to see if they can get out of here. It seems they don't want to push just yet, especially since, I mean, Hall of High Religion were probably very much set up in that one building. There we go, glue walls being used to kind of back up, getting into this next zone very close. IT didn't move quite fast enough to hold them.
Yeah, but IT does have this roof line. You can see his perfect vantage point here to take out players of HR as Eric falls down. Natalio taken down as well. It's just up to Hero, but he has been eliminated.
Nice.
And Superman appearing out of nowhere. I think some confusion here onto IT official about who that extra player was. Superman still managing to stay alive amidst all this chaos. The attention from IT, though, is split. Wow. Team Money still in the area, but Viola is going to get knocked.
Some beautiful nades coming in from IT here. Team Money not quite knowing what to do about this. There we go, a bunch of glue walls that was going to protect them this time as the res comes through. The only thing that's bad about these glue walls is now they have to wait for them to be destroyed as this ring is now closing. Viola goes down. Monkey very low HP. There we go, and one more nade. Monkey goes down. There's just one left on the other side of that glue wall, and IT knows exactly where they are. The push is coming through, and IT killing spree as we can see there. Team Money, wait, he's making a break for it. He's trying to get away.
The pan!
The pan.
Absolute wild booyah. I mean, chaos till the very end moment. We had a King of the Hill. Last game, this was a strong urban finish there as we went to the buildings to the very final ring. And well played by those teams. Absolutely wild.
There were so many people in the little city down to the southern side that when the zone ended up pulling down in that direction, in my brain I was all like, that is the best result for them, because otherwise they would have to run completely out in the open up the side of a hill. So when it went down, the majority of the teams were going to be happy about that one. It just was not a happy ending for the teams that weren't in there already, that were just on the very top of that plateau. And since it was in a city, there was a lot of teams alive until the very, very end, because they were just able to use all that hardcover to their advantage.
And I mean, IT official, right? Well played up on that roof, but you got to give credit to Team Money. And we talked about it being a potential fluke from the previous match. They had kept their head down. They did get that first booyah, but only with 3 kills. I think they proved to us that they can play the circle, they can play the zone, and they can hit those shots. I mean, Boss's shots up there onto NB and Fuego just show that when they went to take the engagement, they can. Again, still only 3 kills, but we saw that high engagement. And R15, I mean, Superman had been a solo for half of that game, and they managed to take
Mhm.
3rd place as well. So really impressive play by a lot of these teams.
I think it's just solidifying the thought that we already kind of guessed. Team Money seems to know what they're doing when it comes to macro. That one was definitely another example that they do know where to place themselves. Again, only 3 kills, but definitely getting a lot of placing points to get the 12 overall. Meanwhile, IT Official, absolutely insane. 13 kills. That's disgusting. The next team that was even close was Fuego with 9.
Yeah, and I mean, it really is heartbreaking to see Fuego have a similar situation going out, right? Coming down from a high ground on the hill, getting caught out in the open, running out of resources, kind of fighting for that
Mhm.
position versus North Blood. But those 9 kills and 14 points are going to be a huge help for the overall day leaderboard for them, and potentially for the overall leaderboard versus lobbies A and B. So let's take a quick look at the last game kills, and you can see IT Official with 2 players up here as well as Fuego.
Sanji's up there once again, actually. This time in the first place position. Weren't they in the second place position this last match? Same with Axel. It looks like they just swapped places. Axel was in first that last match, and now he's in second. But yeah, a lot of members from IT and Fuego here, this time with 2 each. But it seems to be the same 2 people that are definitely up there at the top for the overall kills. And then the overall kills today, yep, we knew it.
Yeah.
There they are in first place as a member from IT with 12, though, and from Fuego with 9.
And it just goes to show, I mean, that some of these teams are coming at this a little bit more aggressive. They're finding themselves those killing opportunities, but unlike Fuego or IT Official, I think's had a little bit stronger of that late game presence. Obviously, with that booyah there in game number 2, it's going to be exciting though, as we are going to switch up maps. We're going to Kalahari next and see if that might just be the change that some of these teams need to play a little bit of catch up. Team Dominican sitting on only 2 points. That was from placement the second game. Skullbreakers, similar situation, 5 points all from placement as well. And then you can see the kills. I mean, it is a huge leap. 20 kills for IT and Fuego. Everybody else still in the single digits.
Yeah, that's disgusting to take a look at. And then we can see that Fuego is in second place, doesn't even have a booyah with the 20 kills. They have second. Team Money, though, they're able to pick up 6 kills, which honestly is not too much to scoff at, because we can see that the next highest after the 20 and 22 is 8 and 7. So them being 6, that's also not too bad. It's just unfortunate for Team Dominican, I feel like, because the first match they had a good idea. I already said that multiple times already, but Fuego took them out. This time, guess who they ran into again? Fuego. Team Dominican, they just need to stay away from Fuego. That's what I'm getting.
And it's wild too, because the way that they rotated in this, they probably thought, there's no way Fuego will be here. And Fuego coming all the way from Sentosa to the center of the map. I mean, probably not something they were expecting. But again, I mean, that's just kind of how the Free Fire Pro Series has been. A lot of teams been being a little bit unpredictable. But again, we are going to switch things up. We've got 2 more maps, 4 more games left this evening. So a lot of scoring opportunities for all these teams. I expect a lot of shakeups here on the leaderboard today, and a lot more chances for some of these teams that have had a rough start to get up here on the points and obviously kind of finish the first week strong. I mean, you want to start feeling good about yourselves before you go into the second week of group
Yeah.
stage.
Exactly. And now, since we're going to a new map, maybe it was that specific map that some teams are going to shine on. Going into a new one, they're going to be like, new map, new me. Maybe some of these teams that we see more towards the bottom are going to go on ahead and really show us that they made it through all those qualifications for a reason. They're here in group stage for a reason. I'd love to see that. And you're right. As time goes on, they will get more used to each other. It'll be a little bit more harder against each other, and we'll see who's going to really be able to make it into grand finals.
I think we have one player that's having a little bit of trouble right now, so we're just gonna kill a tiny bit of time, and I say a tiny bit, I do mean a tiny bit, as we try to wait for them to get ready to get in game so we can get the third match started as we switch things up. When I kind of look back yesterday, the way that we saw groups A and B play each and every one of these maps, I can already say that we've seen very different play styles from the teams in this particular lobby, especially with, I think, the way that some of them have been a little bit more careful, a little bit more cautious, and it's been a slower start for some of these teams, but then once we hit that mid game, everything explodes. We're seeing a lot of the teams go and vie for the same compounds. They're looking for those fights. They're changing up. I think we're seeing a lot more close range fighting in this lobby than yesterday. Was a little bit more long range. We had a lot more snipers into play. And so as we go to Kalahari, it's going to be what I'm kind of curious about. Are we still going to see a lot of that close fighting city play? Or maybe are we going to finally see some teams go, you know what? Yeah, Bermuda's okay, but Kalahari is more our map. This is where we're going to shine and pick up another 30 points.
Could be, could be. We'll have to wait and see, because you're right as well. Hopefully a bunch of these teams are going to get a map and make themselves feel good about it, because this is really the day where that matters the most. Because we already said, like, the first days of any group stage is the most chaotic because it is the newest lobbies, right? As it goes on, they start getting more used to each other. So really just day one, you just want to have like good games to really get your mentality straight, because to me, that's like half the battle, right? So they want to feel good on day one, and that's really going to set up their confidence coming into next week.
Absolutely. Now, I guess to the other thing here and coming into play is that, all teams can have bad days, but you don't want to waste a bad day on today. And as you guys can see, the yellow is up, which means we got that last player in the match. We're going to get game 3 underway here in just a moment. We're going to see if we'll have a repeat Booyah, brand new team on a Booyah, but either way, we're definitely going to see some good fights. So, Span, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. The yellow is so bright. It makes me excited every time, honestly. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It just goes...
It's a good alert for us, especially because sometimes we're sitting here and we're like, all right, tell us when the players are ready. Because I'm ready. I'm ready to cast, but, it is. But the other thing, too, for me as well, and I don't know, like, we're just talking random things, but whenever I watch these players play, all I can think about is I want their skins, I want their pets, and I want all of their items. And so I almost do like virtual shopping when I'm watching these guys.
That's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of what I was looking at last night when I was watching UCast, watching the first A and B groups. Like, that's all I could look at. I was just like, oh, that little pet is so adorable. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. Like, that's exactly what I was
Look
doing.
at all this money. I see this and I just think of that gif of the person just like, yeah, I know Guac's extra and throwing money out there. I mean, maybe IT official can hook us up with that extra guacamole. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, but here we go. I mean, blue zone, R15 once again. You called it out last game, challenging for it, but guess who else is there? It is Fuego again. It didn't work too well for R15 last time as they ended up getting down to just Superman after a lot of long fighting, but Onu and TDM also in a bit of a hot drop scenario here in confinement.
And it's not looking too good for Onu. Another one goes down. Already new kill leader. Oh, look at that. It's the team that we were trying to see if they're going to go ahead and do well. Team Dominican and Onu. On the meanwhile, it's not going to be Prince and Mario anymore. It's going to be Mario and Kelvin this time, it seems. Now at least one of them has a weapon, but it looks like Mario at this point, he's just trying to go ahead and disengage a little bit further away. Meanwhile, IT, already a team that we can tell is going for that top 109 points. They want to be at the top of the leaderboard after these 6 games. They're going to be playing against SKB. So let's see, will Skullbreaker, will they break IT skulls, or will their skulls get broken? I mean, we'll see.
If there was a team to break skulls, it would definitely be the team that just came off a Booyah win. You can see IT crowd's actually playing this a little bit slow, right? They're knowing pushing into that little Aztec pyramid's not the play here. And speaking of also taking things slow, Fuego making sure that they're not taking any unnecessary risks onto R15, especially with a couple snipers already into play. And like Axel, though, has got a couple shots. There is going to connect. Calvin gets a knock, but it's traded out. Superman picks one up onto Jeremy as well.
Ooh. I'm glad that they're actually taking this fight this time, because last time when they ended up running away, I was kind of thinking in the very back of my head, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to end up running into each other again. And yeah, immediately the next game. At first, I didn't think that, I guess Fuego, maybe on this map, maybe they just go for blue, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe they just go Command Coast. But R15, they're definitely just chasing blue. Like, no questions about it. R15, though, at this point, seems like they're trying to leave. They're kind of pushing out more on that western side of this map to get away from Fuego. They don't want to take that fight just yet. Meanwhile, ooh, High Religion and Team Money, no! They're in a huge fight now. Talio making the push.
There's just so many hot drop fights starting this match, way more than we saw here on to Bermuda, and you can see HR also down to 2 players, and Talio doesn't really have much options in terms of guns to use going. There's no shotgun, no SMG here, and so they're just playing with what they can. You can see M16 also out there, but Team Money coming out on top is traded, though. Just Monkey. I think this might be down to just a 1v1 now. Oh no, Viola's still up. It's up to Sopgrate.
Oh no, okay, we can see Viola on the other side of this building trying to heal on up. Oh, Supporte is going to actually be able to get the res on Italo. That is not what Team Money wants to see whatsoever. So now it's back to a 2v1. Viola, I think, realizing the situation, is just going to start running up towards the northern side. He just wants to get away over to the east, running towards IT. They don't know that yet. We know that they're running towards IT, but off to the east they go. Looks like that fight is over for now. Meanwhile, we saw TM Dominican pick up quite a few kills. And Mario is still on the run. Mario and Kelvin. It looks like they haven't gotten caught just yet.
I mean, if we had to have an award for player most traveled, I feel like Mario might be up there right now. But, you know, at the same time, finding themselves in that good position for the late game, get extra kills, find themselves some placement points, that's still a valid strategy here. If you don't need to lose a fight here in TDM, look for those points later in the game. But Mario, Kelvin, looks like they have joined back up and are going to leave confinement for now. The circle did pop. They don't have too far to travel for this. In fact, just about everybody inside the zone, except for the Butchers and the C7. So don't have to worry too much in terms of players that need to be chasing the circle. The biggest things, though, obviously, though, is the teams that started off fighting here in the beginning. Are they able to recover? Skullbreakers being one of them. You can see right now just on the other side of the ledge here from JP, as well as Onu trying to get away from TM Dominican. We also had HR and TM. Viola, the last survivor there from TM, was able to get back away. And it looks like Fuego and R15 also able to break that apart. R15 just straight sent it to the south. They said, you know what, we're done. You can have this position. And I'm actually makes me curious if they're going to keep chasing the blue after this.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I mean, it kind of worked for them the very first map because nobody else really came with them. But Fuego now might be somebody they don't want to be fighting against. And I'm so glad you pointed out all the solos because after the first match, when that solo ended up kind of almost ruining the entire game for Team Money, I want to see more solo player action. I mean, it's unfortunate that they're all put in that position, but there's so many solos already. So many solos and it's only Circle 1. Like, I'm ready to see them ruin another team's day. Like, I feel bad saying that, but it's so exciting to see.
Yeah, 33 players, but still 12 teams alive. It's just absolute 32 now. I mean, look at this. We're just dropping the light prize right now. C7 an engagement here into R15 as both teams wrapped around down to the south. The problem, though, is that this area, Mammoth, is not in the circle. They've got to move to the ring, starts to move ahead of them. And you can see right now, R15 kind of trapped behind this crate. They've really, unfortunately, given the upper hand to C7.
I think they're just trying to get loot, man. There's like, C7, leave us alone. But obviously C7 is not going to listen to that. There's only 3 of them left. They have 0 kills. They got one of their teammates taken away from them. Jordy, unfortunately, not there. So they want revenge. Even if it's not with the right people, they're going to go ahead and take it. So it looks like they figured out exactly where all of R15 is. And now they're just going to wait. Look at that ring slowly closing in the distance. If R15 isn't going to move, they're just going to wait for that zone to do it for them.
Oh, that nade. Oh, it bounced. Unfortunately, you saw Ricky throw a nade there from C7, but it just landed a little bit short from R15. In fact, that glue wall might have been a bit of a factor in that, but you can see Tureno is actually pulling back, rotating around. Maybe they're trying to find an off angle, or C7 might just say, you know what? Let them have it. Let's take the zip line from Mammoth, get into zone, and we could at least wait for them on the other side of the edge here. So if they can actually get into the circle before F15, you can actually see Superman does have line of sight on that zip line. This could be a risky rotation for either of these teams, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And now it's not R15 that's in the blue. that's in the zone, in the ring. It's actually C7. So they're going to be the ones that are actually taking damage. We'll see if they'll be able to get out in time or if our 15 are going to be able to set up in time to hold them out because they've already reached the zone, actually. Meanwhile, we can see Fuego kind of being some rock climbers. IT, oh, they heard them coming on up. And look at that. It's going to be our 2 top killers that are going to be going against each other really quickly. And IT starting to throw down a ton of walls already, but a great nade is actually going to have MVPs go down.
Oh, the second nade, there you go, gets the flush off that. Really great use of utility here. You'd see from the opposite angle here, Fuego able to continue pushing up this hill as the chase is continuing on. It gives them that upper hand, the high ground to play from as they try to look for the last member of IT, but Sanji has just pulled back away. The circle, though, doing all of them favors as it's kind of centered up in this position. JP taking the northern half just outside of Bayfront. But now look at all of these teams that have not yet moved into the zone. All of the solos. You've got Violet as well as a couple other up to the north. So I'm going to be curious to see how this one plays out for some of these teams that are going to be rotating into a little bit more open areas.
I don't disagree. There's only 3 teams inside of this next zone so far, so everybody is going to have to make a move, and they're going to be running into each other. We already knew that eventually our 15 might be running into C7, but what we didn't expect maybe is that they're also going to be running into TBT. It's going to be Team Butcher. Let's see who's going to be taken down. R15 once again getting caught out completely in the open. 1 down, 2 down. I think there's only 1 left hiding behind some of those blue walls. It's not looking too good. That one's about to break very shortly, and that is going to be it from them. Only 1 left. Okathy actually able to make it around up inside of the building. Okathy able to get a little bit of revenge, taking 1 down, but a 3v1, it is not looking pretty.
Now the chase really coming in from the Butchers right now. Blue just landing that shot. Kathy barely alive. You can see trying to stay up, but Natha actually is going to get that last shot. Even a little bit of a camouflage pop there from Blue as they tried to just surprise Okathy, but the Butchers still alive with 3. They've got 4 kills to show for it. I mean, we talked about the teams that had struggled a bit on the first match, having the opportunity to play redemption here as we switch things up. And Kalahari, thus far, is really serving up some goodness to some of those teams that needed it.
Exactly. And I mean, unfortunately for R15, I mean, that means they're out. TBT Team Butchers, they still have 3 up. Luckily for them, there's nobody else right in front of them that's going to go ahead and impede their progress inside of this next zone. Fuego, all good and dandy in the very center of the zone still. Still hasn't found the solo from IT just yet either. And it looks like North Blood is getting really, really close to at least a solo for right now. I don't know just yet. Yeah. Or Viola.
I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know if Esteban heard them at all, but it looks like right now NB is just continuing to clear out Bayfront as they try to move more and more center position. And that actually could be good for Viola. That means they might be able to stay up alive. Blester now going to join the rest of NB. So if Viola can just keep their heads down, they might be able to keep this one alive just yet. And as you know, we talked about a few times already, solos have made it up to the late game and they have ruined things for a lot of other teams, as well as giving themselves not only that placement points, but those extra kills. And so now, as the ring continues to close, we'll see where that next ring will pop open. Well, and it is going to be... Oh, there you go. Good reposition there for NB. And you know what? Fuego, this might just be the thing they need. But my big fear here, Span, is once again, they're in an open, high ground area. If the circle shifts anywhere away from Fuego's position, we could potentially see a 3rd game. They get caught rotating down from a hill again.
Well, they've gotten this location in zone the last 3 zone pops. What are the chances they'll get the next one, you know?
It's gotta happen at least once, right?
Yeah, they've gone center this whole time. They're in it once again. Maybe it'll pull towards them once again. Obviously, we can't predict that. We'll just have to wait and see. But everybody else, we can already see that they're rotating on into the city parts. So yeah, if it doesn't get pulled towards Fuego, we're probably going to get a repeat of that last game. Meanwhile, we can see a couple of broken teams kind of running into each other. Yeah, we just saw Duro running through this zone, finally getting really close to crossing, and has to just wait out for a little bit as Onu's now there.
I mean, so many solos again. We're still at 10 teams, 25 players left alive, and it just comes the sheer amount, as you said, broken teams, teams that are 2 or less players, teams that are even separated just a little bit. But JP, a team that's managed to keep 4 up right now. They don't have any kills to show for it, but coming right on the edge of C7. Viola still in this area as well, still in the zone. And now with HR just sending it in a car. Oh, no. Oh, they've picked Viola's car and almost ran over themselves as well.
I would have been a little bit scared to send it that hard in here, not knowing anything that was happening inside the zone. But you know what? It worked out for them. They got a building, and now they get to hold everybody else. But no, Viola! Viola! No way, Untitled goes down. Which is not going to be happy about that. Now it's down to a 1v1 once again, and it looks like they're in the same building. But wait a second, not even. It's actually Ricky from C7 in Viola's building. And Supporte, the last one up for High Religion, in the complete opposite one. This is solo on solo violence. Stop it. You're supposed to ruin the teams, not each other.
I mean, Supporte just ran through Viola's building and went to the next one, and now you've got Ricky, right, for C7. C7 was doing so well, and in the blink of an eye fell down to just a solo, but all of these teams not in the zone, and you know what, speaking of not in the zone, we said Fuego might lose that position. That's exactly what's happening here, but as they come down the hill, they need to be careful for the Butchers. So right now, keeping that pressure onto them as they continue to hold this high ground, but things are going to be vulnerable if they can't take down all the members. They try to land down, and oh no! Oh, strong! Oh, perfect use of a time turner there.
Uziel, yeah, he fell. He instantly knew that he needed to throw something down. There we go, some walls will blow. Well, I don't think he realizes how low Strong is. The longer that he's waiting, the worse it's going to be for him. But at least he has his teammate there now. This zone, don't want to run into that, so they're just going to start running away from Strong. Strong, on the other hand...
Oh, that nade.
No way! Uziel goes down.
Blue managed to get themselves into a good compound. They had line of sight onto Fuego. Strong might have been calling out that information, but it's just down to Calvin, caught out in the open once again. Fuego, can they keep one alive this time?
Oh my goodness, no way. I really thought that Fuego was on top of that one, but I did not realize that TBT were really going to be able to grab that building and kind of get a little bit of an off angle. I don't even know if they really meant for that to happen. They were just trying to get cover because Fuego was above them, just absolutely raining down on top of them. But luckily, I mean, they're able to come out on top of that one, actually. And Calvin, you're right, is the last one alive, the furthest one away from this newest zone, all the way on the east. All the solos, again, fighting. No!
I mean, everybody was really congested up here in this area. You can see Ricky from C7 still tearing into players. It'd actually be IT Official that gets eliminated first here. JP down to 2 players still standing. It's up to Toddy and Freestyle, but still, gotta be careful. Ricky is alive, and it actually looks like JP is not gonna run to zone until they know that Ricky is off their backs, but as the circle continues to close the ring. Unfortunately, with all these blue walls actually trapping some players out, they are starting to lose damage, but with Ricky eliminated now, JP can just focus on healing and getting into zone, but they gotta act quickly. The circle is closing fast.
And I'm concerned because they don't have that much cover. All they have are those 2 little crates that Toddy is already making a run for. Otherwise, everybody else at least has a building or some sort of a wall. There we go. We see Toddy kind of hiding at those crates right now. And that's all that they have. Them being 2 people up. Actually, it's a 2v2v3 now, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, well, nope. Another one goes down. It's just Toddy left. I take it back. I kind of cursed them, I feel like. But now this is the very last zone, and everybody's kind of stuck in corners.
And, you know, I mean, bringing the conversation back, we talked about how Onu, Mario, and Kelvin, in one of the first engagements that we saw this match, did manage to break away, once again getting themselves to the final fight and in a potential to win it in a booyah. So never say never. If you fall down early in the beginning of the game, there's always a chance to recover. And as you see now in B, 3 players up, taking the fight there to Onu, but Toddy still a factor here. Circles closing in fast. Glue walls are up. Oh, Toddy out there, but Boss is actually just going to completely melt Onu. J-Pros for life falls as well. And there you go. Booyah.
They knew what they needed to move. They tossed out all of their utility. I don't even know what to say. That shotgun. I mean, imagine you have a sniper and you come to the very end circle and you're just like, wow, I really wish I had a shotgun instead of this sniper. He tried so hard to be getting some of those shots, but then instantly they just turned around and just boom, done, game over. And I like to see that Mario and his teammate were able to stay alive that long, because you're right, they were kind of that two men for the longest time. They're definitely, I feel like, kind of masters of what is the word I'm looking for? Like aversion, you know what I mean? Like staying away from
Yeah.
people. Basically, they're really good at it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's been a really interesting aspect to watch of Onu all throughout the day is that when they kind of fall down, even when I think multiple times that we've seen Mario in situations with Kelvin, with Prince, be able to keep their team up alive through the late game. But I mean, NB, wonderful display, well earned, Booyah, and Boss. I mean, we've seen the firepower that he's had throughout the day, and now to get, as you saw, that shotgun play at the very end, secure that victory, that Booyah for them was just chef's kiss. So such a well-deserved play. And there you go. See 7 kills for Northblood, a total of 19 points. Make them the match winner here for game number 3. Job pros for life. And Onu, though, coming back in behind them at 14 points. And Fuego, only 1 kill.
Wow.
And another heartbreaking being caught out coming off a hill. I mean, that has been the story of them all day.
I'm surprised though. Usually they're able to go away with a lot more kills than that. It looks like this time they weren't lucky in that terms. I really think that Fuego were very much taken by surprise with the team that they ended up fighting for the very last time. So at least they were able to pick up the 8 points by staying alive that long. But meanwhile, we can definitely see that some other teams that ended up going out a little bit earlier in the game, such as Team Butcher, they were able to pick up more kills and therefore get a good amount of points as well. So, I mean, that was the first bad game for Fuego, and they kind of got themselves ahead at the top of the leaderboard, so we'll have to wait and see.
Now there you go, the top game kills for match number 3. NB Boss leading it with 6. Got most of those there at the very end. Onu, Mario, JP Freestyle picking up 4 apiece. IT MVPs and Sanji each with 2 as well. So once again, I mean, IT official have been leading pretty much throughout the day. We're seeing them find that consistency. So take a look at the overall leaderboard for groups C and D today. You can see IT official still in first place with 51 points, 26 kills. Fuego, I mean, only having a 1 kill game made it a little bit easier for some of the rest of the teams to start to play catch up. And you could see just how close it is. I mean, 1 game could shake up 7th through 2nd place here.
Exactly. Northblood just launching themselves up there into 3rd place. And no, Team Dominican, at this point, I'm kind of like rooting for them because I want to see something happen with them. And everybody else at this point were able to kind of not catch up in kills, but at least I think we got to see a lot more teams being able to pick up kills in this match, if I'm not mistaken. So now we have one more match on that same map, and I'm interested to see if some of these teams are going to be taking it differently, because I do think some of them kind of did get trapped up in areas that I wouldn't have ever wanted to be. It was completely out in the open.
Absolutely. I mean, in contrast to Bermuda, here on Kalahari, I think we had, 4 fights going on in the very first ring of teams dropping right on top of each other, fighting for that dominant position. We once again saw R15 and Fuego fight for the blue zone to start. It looks like R15 finally gave up, so I'm curious to see if they're done chasing blue for the day, as Fuego's been chasing it for the last couple of games, or if we're going to continue to see those fights happen. And like you said, I mean, some teams that didn't really have any scoring, any kills at all on Bermuda, found some kills here on that match. Skullbird, a little bit better performance here, as well as Team Dominica picking up those 2 kills there in the beginning as well. So those teams that struggled there on the first map, this is their last chance if they're a Kalahari favorite to try and get themselves some good points. But there's always purgatory, which we'll be going to in a little bit. But guys, with that, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, give the players a chance to rest, give us a chance to drink some water, and then we'll be back with 3 more games today for the Free Fire Pro Series America. So don't go anywhere.
survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12 finalists will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back from the break. We've had 3 games down in the bag and 3 left to go. I'm Clover, joined tonight by Span Cargo. And Span, we've had 3 different teams win 3 different booyahs so far this evening. Team Money, IT Official, and North Blood. How are you feeling as we get ready to go in the second half of the day?
Well, there's definitely some teams that have also been very aggressive that we've been keeping an eye on that haven't gotten that booyah just yet. So I'm interested to see if maybe now in these last 3 matches, if they're going to go on ahead and be able to pick some of those booyahs up, or if we're going to see some booyah teams pick up more, or
Absolutely.
maybe a team is going to surprise us. That's always kind of a hope as well.
Yeah, I mean, today is lobbies C and D. We had lobbies A and B play together yesterday, and in yesterday's games, we only had 1 team pick up 2 booyahs. Everybody else kind of just had 1, and the rest of the points really came down to kills. This day, it's been a little bit different. We haven't had too many teams completely run away with it. Team Money, low on kills, but really good at staying up in the late game. IT Official, high up on kills, really great at staying up in the late game. Team Fuego, great on kills, struggling coming down from mountains. So it's going to be interesting to see, now that we've had a little bit of a mental break, teams have had a chance to kind of sit down, talk with one another, how that's going to carry forward. We've got 1 more game on Kalahari, and then we'll switch things up for the last 2 matches on Purgatory. So for those teams that have not had a good start, a lot of opportunities to play catch up. And though, guys, as you see, the yellow is here, and that means that Span and I are going to jump into the plane with these players here in just a moment, and we're going to get that game underway.
I'm looking forward to it because you already said it. We got to see. I want to follow the arc. Can Fuego get down the mountainside this time? That's what I'm going to be following.
You know what? I believe Calvin almost did it last game. I mean, we really, really though,
Mountain
if you're Fuego and you are finding yourselves up in a hill and it's only ring 3, get
Just
off that
stop.
hill. Just stop. Do
Go
yourselves
to
a
a
favor.
building.
Of course, watch this. We're gonna say that Fuego's gonna be like, you know what, we should get off these hills, and then it's gonna end on the top of a hill, and we're gonna ruin it. So don't listen to us, guys. Listen to what's in your heart and your soul, because as you can see here, match 4 is beginning. Our last game here on Kalahari. Nice little view of Mammoth there for a brief moment. We're going to see how teams play. Now, again, another thing to point out, we saw the start of last game. We had 4 different fights going on at the very beginning of Ring, and we'll be interested to see if teams land in similar positions. We're going to have those fights to start. Already seeing a little bit of clustering here on the map, so we'll see where it's going. R15 going for the blue zone again, but it's actually Fuego that's going to pull off this time.
Okay, so we were kind of wondering, it's all like, okay, is Fuego following the blue zone, or do they just, like, happen to drop command post? The answer is command post, and it is just still R15. They dropped the blue zone. Okay, now that we have that clarified, I mean, I find that kind of interesting. Is there at any point that maybe R15 would have to go ahead and do something different? I don't know if that'd be possible, but it looks like, yeah, there's some fights that are still happening in the same locations with the same people. It looks like these are their drops, and they don't want to give them up.
Yeah, Vilo, who is the last player for Team Money last game. First one knocked down, not yet in a resible position. You can see Sanji using them as bait, and First Blood is going to go there as Viola gets flushed back out. But Team Money still 3 up. They've got a little bit of a high ground, and they've separated a couple players. Like, see, MVPs really kind of struggling a bit as well, as they're kind of having to deal with the rest of Team Money. Meanwhile, we've also got Skullbreakers here with Hyatt Religion Italio. Just a little bit on HP, but still plenty safe. They've got quite a lot dividing them. In fact, I think we might be seeing these two teams start to give each other some distance and back off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing. Meanwhile, IT, T, and Money, they're just completely intertwined at this point. MVPs, he's like winning the hide and seek game so far, though, hiding that building right behind Monkey. I mean, if he had something and he was able to just swing around that one corner, Monkey is going to have something hit him that he was not expecting whatsoever, but it looks like he's going to find some cover in that little pyramid instead. So, I mean, it kind of seems like they're kind of at a standoff at this point. Nothing, they're just waiting for somebody to mess up.
Yeah, and at least until that first ring pops, there's no need to do anything too risky, because the circle could very well just pop up here to the north, and this could be a potential for them to play from. You know, if you're IT official, you don't want to run to the zone with Team Money at your back, and so the earlier they can handle this threat, the better. Now, Trade is going to come out. Sanji gets knocked, but so does a member of Team Money, and it actually looks like Trimble is going to try and take out the remaining members. Good use there of Time Turner. Glue Wall's coming up, but it looks like Team Money is not going to make this easy for them.
Not at all. Let's see. Sanji, we know that they're really good at this game. They've been on that top team kills every single game, and that is going to be it. That is ended. I want to see if Sanji's going to be able to get it in this match as well. Seriously, they have gotten it in all 3 matches so far, so maybe they'll get a 4th after that one. Now they're blissfully alone, and the zone still has almost about to pop, and then they'll be able to figure out where they need to go next.
Also, blissfully alone, R15, you know.
Yeah.
Again, I think I kind of agree with you. Like, if they don't chase the zone, where are they going to land? You know, they're going to have to fight for a position, not knowing where the other teams, I mean, they may not even have been paying too much attention where the other teams are going.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, now the circle has popped. Just about everybody is in TDM. Don't have too far to travel. North Blood just on the outside of Stone Ridge there to the east. The only other team that really need to get themselves into a nice position. But as you can see there in the mini window, C7 closing in onto the maze right there with the Butchers. So this could be our next fight. As there you go, the damage popping off there strong, taking quite a bit. Hasn't been knocked just yet, but Ricky and Tirano, they are taking the fight right there to the Butchers. Jordy finding that opening knock.
Ooh, C7, they're pushing strong as well, trying to go on ahead and get that res though really quickly. That means C7 has the opportunity to go around, but wait a second, 2 of them actually go down. Daryl, Ricky have fallen. That means there's only 2 left. C7, this has turned around in the way that they were not expecting. Trano now trying to shoot from afar. There we go, instantly using some of that utility, healing up as well. But wait, what was that? Was that the nade? Yep, and down they go. Strong, beautiful nade. There's only 1 left. You can see Jordy is just trying to get the heck out of there. Does not want to be taken down just yet.
It's a smart play here, but you can see right now the rest of TBT really trying to clear out, making sure they find any last stragglers, and the flush coming out onto Ricky. Meanwhile, IT, who did able to kind of pull out from their previous fighting position that they won against IT Money, now having to deal with JA. And actually, it looks like they're just going to leave this as well. I mean, this is the edge of zone. It's not really an area that they need to worry about fighting. But they're keeping the high ground on this rapid rotation as well. It's going to get them all that information for everything that's happening across the water. So you can see JP hanging out down behind them, the Job Pros. But across the water, you do have Skull Breakers. So, and potentially, I'm curious to see where TM Dominica might play. They've been playing the edge, trying to keep it a little bit safe in the early. But starting off with this, I mean, they've got that zip line to take them right into Bayfront. That could be a good play for them here.
Exactly. We'll just have to wait and see. And I'm also interested, actually, I'm sorry, I know we already talked about them, but IT going up onto the very edge of the map, like, I assumed that they would all have some sort of sniper. And I think maybe they're planning on being like a little bit of pests or something to the rest of these guys further inside of this zone for right now. Definitely a safe spot to be. Nobody can get to them unless they run in the same direction. So, I mean, just hold your breath, wait and see.
I like where your mind is at. You know, sniping off the shrines, that is the ultimate really troll move here. But also talking about troll moves, Jordy still leaving TBT on the chase. The Butchers trying to live up to their names, but it looks like they might finally have given up and said, you know, he's not close enough. We can turn our backs. And, you know, we've talked about it a couple times now. When you get on these zip lines, you can make yourself really vulnerable. We've seen a couple of times where teams have lost players to the zip lines when they're trying to transition from one position to the next. So if you know that there's an enemy in an area, it's not a bad thing to try and make sure that at least if that's an option for how you want to travel. But that said, you know, other teams that have kind of kept their head down through the day, Skull Breakers right now on 0 kills. They did leave Maxima now in a nice position in the center of the current zone. So depending on where this next ring pops, this could be a good play for them as well.
Exactly. I haven't quite seen anybody use zipline just yet since Fuego. Fuego did not get too punished though. Fuego, speaking of them, currently in the very center of the map, up on top of a bunch of buildings, I will say. So they are currently high up as of right now. I mean, a great place to be able to spot everybody around them. So there we go. We can see them in the very center of the map, and everybody is actually, they're respecting each other's distance, their boundaries as of right now. Jordy from C7, though, kind of making a run towards North Blood, all the way down there on the southern side in Mammoth. But other than that, everybody's just waiting for this next zone to pop, and it's about to very shortly.
Yeah, and you know, I think too, what's been interesting for me is some of the teams that have been holding on to the edge of zone. North Blood being another one right now. It's again, Jordy's still in this area. North Blood though was not a part of that fight against C7, so Jordy could potentially surprise them if he continues to keep his head down and keep things a little bit quiet here as they continue to rotate back around Mammoth. The ring will close here in just a moment. We'll see where the next one will pop. But, I mean, just how close right now North Blood is getting to Jordy. It looks like he's been spotted, maybe, potentially. I'm not sure. Yep, there you go. The gun is out.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordy, no.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they know. They know. Jordy, run. Boss goes down, actually. Wait a second.
Oh. North Blood, I mean, of all the players to lose, definitely don't want to lose Boss, but Boss gets flushed back out. North Blood down to 3. Meanwhile, as you guys can see on the right-hand side, the circle hard shifted away. So a tough call is going to need to be made by these teams right now. If they can take out Jordy, this could be big. Esteban looking like he's just going right there for the close play. Shots are out, and there you go. Taken care of. That time turner pop just perfectly, but unfortunately at the cost of one of their star players for the day, their Boss. And now they've got a lot of distance to close before the next ring closes itself as well. Meanwhile, the Butchers were on their way to zone as well. Remember, this is the team originally that was fighting C7.
Yep, they're starting to make their way on in from that more northern side. Let's see where they're going to end up. But there's actually quite a few people kind of on this western side, I will say. We can definitely see that TBT now, the team right in front of them. Oh, no, they're about to be running into each other. Okay, it's Onu versus Skullbreaker. There we go. Shots coming out. Prince almost goes down, but somehow does not. Able to toss down some glue walls. Definitely going to be healing. But Mario, he's just full on pushing. There we go. Instantly throwing down at least a time turner for a second. He's going to be able to heal, but he's kind of trapped now inside of a very small building. Let's see if his team's going to be able to get him out.
I mean, you can see the UAV is deployed, but this is probably the most put together we've seen La ONU playing for the day right now, keeping 4 up strong, and the pressure there onto Skull Breakers. Duro trapped on the roof, as you can see Milo and the rest of Onu being a little bit patient, trying to find an angles. Unfortunately, I think Prince did not mean to fall off the ridge line there, so he's going to have to rotate back around to get back up in his sight line here of the Skull Breakers. But this fight inside the circle, alone for right now, but you got Fuego just starting to creep in from the south. You can see there on the mini map. So they can't take too long on this, or else they're going to run the risk of being third party and out in the open.
And knowing Fuego, I have a feeling that they're definitely going to be getting involved. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Onu, they've been aggressive when they absolutely had to, but otherwise, you're right. We haven't really seen them together just yet to see if they are an aggressive team or not. SKB, though, only 2 of the members from Skullbreakers left. Let's see. Sanity now spotting him out, though. Ooh, a lot of damage. Instantly the wall goes down, but it doesn't matter. Skullbreaker is eliminated. Okay, there we go. I think Uziel actually got involved in that one a tiny bit. Or it was somebody else taking some shots down on the southern side, actually. But now another 2 teams getting really close to each other. It's going to be Japros and, of course, our team TM Dominican that we've been wanting to keep an eye on. The next zone here has moved, going up to that northwestern side. They're not inside this zone in that compound. That means they have to move into Japros.
I mean, Japro's really able to gatekeep here, as you can see them keeping that pressure onto TM Dominica. HR, R15 popping off just to the south of that, but at least for right now, these 2 teams keeping each other preoccupied. Some throwables upstairs, and Doba actually is going to knock down 2 players there of iReligion, eliminated.
Ooh.
A second nade does the deed.
Well, that was very quick, I have to say. And now R15, all they have to do is get inside this next zone. Hopefully they hear some shots or something happening on their northern side and they can figure out a way to get inside the zone without running into that. Maybe they'll be able to hold out the people that are fighting just above them. But for now, they're going to go ahead and loot up their spoils. And if they're not careful, they're also going to be rotated into very shortly from somebody on the south. There's a ton of teams that still have to get inside of the zone at this point, so they need to get a move on. TDM, JP, still very patient with their movements as R15 is trying to make a move towards them.
I mean, this is making me a little bit scared for Team Dominica right now, because if you've got, two split between 2 buildings there for TDM, you've got all of R15 pushing into one. Meanwhile, inside the zone, you do have North Blood, but they've pulled the attention away from La ONU. So if R15 looks like they are not going to push the compounds, but instead hang along the ridge line, hang around the water here, and try to creep in on the bridge. So they should actually be able to get into zone safely, out of line of sight from the rest of these teams. And I like this. I like not needing to get involved, not needing to take those risky plays if it's not needed. Kathy just kind of keeping a watchful eye on the side. Unfortunately, though, this high ground that IT have, and it's a trade.
It's so good. IT is taking shots, and I think so is TDM down to the southern side. So honestly, I feel like R15, they were not going to have a good time whatsoever from that position. They were the ones that were pinched instead of TM Dominican in that position. But now TM Dominican does have to deal with Japros now making the push from them on the southern side. We see Strong there taking some shots in their direction, and they're also pinched. Team Butcher down to the southern side as well. This is not looking good for Japros for life whatsoever, but at least they're able to pick up a couple of kills so far.
If anything, this is helping out Team Dominica right now, because everybody is trying to wrap in and play this water, out of line of sight from IT crowd. And so bodies falling left and right there. You can see Fuego even getting into the action now as they're coming into the backside here of the Butchers. Butchers coming in the backside of JP.
Wow.
JP coming in the backside of TDM. It's just wild.
I don't even know what's happening at this point. Everybody's running into everybody, and you know what? Another team is coming. Down to the southern side, we can see Team 8. That is Fuego. So Fuego took down a team down there. They hear the fighting up here. They're sniffing it out. They're hearing it out. They know that they want to get involved. JP, let's see if they're going to finish it off before they get there. Another member from JP actually goes down and killing spree. There we go. They go down. TDM ends up getting a couple of good kills. IT gets a killing spree way up there on the northern side, but now TM Dominican, they might have gotten rid of the closest threat, but they still have to deal with somebody else. Wait, did Fuego? Fuego just got taken out by Japros.
Yeah, and honestly, it looked like IT crowd had kind of pushed themselves off to the west and let these fights happen on their own as they were dealing with North Blood. And so now, as the threat of North Blood is no longer an issue, IT crowd can turn their attention back out to all the fighting that had gone onto the edge. Onu managing to stay out of sight, but they are not in the zone anymore. Kind of waiting to see where the other team is, and that is still Team Dominica, Kurama, and Brega still up and alive, and they've taken a lot of the attention away from IT official, but with the 2v4 TDM got a lot of work ahead of them. The big risk factor here on whether or not they can get across is Onu, who actually looks like they're wrapping into TDM.
It's not looking too good. Yeah, Onu, they're starting to make a move towards that road. The thing is completely out in the open. We can see the Onu definitely spotting out IT just in front of them, kind of hiding underneath that bridge. There we go. They're going to spot out the last member from Team Dominican. They go down, and now it's just down to 2 teams left, each of which have 3 people up. IT, we know they're aggressive. They're really good at team fights. Let's see if Onu is going to be able to pull this off. Onu always somehow manages to stay alive until the very end, but Tremble is just pushing. He's just going for it. His teammates aren't even with him, and Onu taking a lot of damage. Let's see, the rest of IT has now gotten here. Beautiful shot to Mario. There's only one left. It's just down to Shanty. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Instantly, the push comes through from Johnny, and he goes down. This is a 1v1.
Absolute killing spree there of IT Official, but Patrona and Trimble, the last 2 up. It is a 2v1. Milo now gets flushed out. Sanity popping glue walls left and right. They've used the time turner time and time again. There's not really much left in terms of resources. Actually just managed to pick up 3 glue walls off a dead body, and is going to be able to use an existing one up there to heal. 1v1. If they can find Patrona, this could be the first booyah for La Onu, but look at this Sanity keeping that high ground. It looks like they spotted out. Patrona is going to take them out, and there you go. Booyah. La Onu picking up that one there as we come out of Kalahari. Just, really exciting. I feel like I'm losing my voice now.
Taking that one away from IT. I mean, La Onu, they were kind of struggling at the beginning here, but it looks like coming after our break, they decided that they were going to stay all 4 up until very late in the game, and because of that, they won their first booyah. So that's, I think they should continue to do that, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of teased them almost a little bit that they really struggled keeping up more than 2 players past the mid game. They've had a couple of times, if you think the very first match where Mario and Prince got separated for much of the game, they kind of got pushed apart by High Religion. So to be able to see what that team can do as a 4-man squad, as a 3-man squad, even up through the late game, has been absolutely impressive. But still want to give credit to IT Official. We saw them, I think, with 14, maybe even potentially 15 kills from that match. So it's definitely going to shake some things up on the leaderboard for sure. I think at this point, IT Official can safely say that they are in the lead for today's lobby. That said, though, we'll get to take a chance here at the overall leaderboard, in the match leaderboard, in just a second before we switch things up, and then we will move forward to Purgatory for our last 2 matches of the evening. So another thing too, I really was excited, I think, for some of the teams that we had seen really step up. La Dominica, TM Dominica, that is probably the best performance that we've had from them today. They really had a tough start. Those first 2 matches on Bermuda, no kills to show for it. This was a team that really looked put together this map.
We even talked about it. They were about to get pinched by 2 teams, and we're just like, that's probably it. You pointed it out immediately, but instead they were able to figure out what they needed to do. They were able to get out of the stuck position that they were going to find themselves in and take out a team that was going to hold them out. So I do think that that was a success on their part. You're right. I'm glad you pointed that out, and I'm surprised that Fuego got taken down by a singular person. I was really thinking Fuego was going to go on ahead and sweep on up there, but instead that's not quite what happened.
No, Team Money, the first team out for this game, no points, but they know it's still a little bit high on the leaderboard. So you know what? They can afford 1 bad game. But as you said, I mean, Fuego, they picked up 11 points, 5 for kills, but seems like, if anything, Kalahari has been kind of a lackluster performance in contrast to what we saw from that team on Bermuda. But Job Pros for life, kind of up there in the late game. TM Dominican, 10 points, 2 kills. Love to see it. I think they've got up to 4 kills now for the day. But IT Official, 16 total kills, 25 points in second place.
Disgusting.
Second place in placement, first in the match, just barely ahead of La Onu. And there you go, our top kill game leader. You know what? You called it. You said you wanted to see Sanji kill lead again. I think you got that wish.
I definitely did. Now they just have to do it for the last 2. Sanji, you can do it. Stay up there. And he's always been at least joined by one of his teammates as well. I would like to point out Onu finally finding themselves on here as well. Both Santi and Mario and Dalba from, of course, our 15 official. So that's nice to see. Kills today in total. Sanji definitely is just running away with it at the very top with 23 total. Then his teammate Tremble with 12. Axel, of course, from Fuego. He's been up here quite a few times as well with 11. Onu, Mario, 9. And Boss from North Led with 8.
Yeah, and, North Blood lost boss very early on the previous match. And
Yeah.
so, if you're going up against a team, that they've got one of these players. I mean, these are the types of people. If you see that in the kill feed, you see you knocked him, get that flush. You want to make sure you take those top scores from these teams away to help your team out if you are chasing. But if you are one of these four lovely teams, yeah, keep those guys alive. As you heard, Span Cargo really rooting out for Sanji. Now, IT official at 76 total points. You may potentially see them break the 100 barrier as well. La Baya did it yesterday at the 109 points. But Fuego, La ONU chasing 48 and 50 apiece. And then a little bit of a gap. And then you've got Northblood, Butcher, Team Money, Ja Pros for Life, R15 Official, High Religion, all kind of close to one another, one good game apart. So
Mhm.
there's not really too much. I think my only fear is Skullbreakers, Team Dominican, and even a little bit of struggle from C7 today to see if they can play catch up here on the last match. We switched things over for Purgatory. So the last two matches.
Yeah, luckily we're gonna be on Purgatory now because we keep talking like, oh, maybe they're better at a different map. We'll see. We'll see. We're about to go into Purgatory. Let's see if C7, Team Dominican, and Skullbreaker. Let's see if they go on ahead and feel something a little bit different on top of this map. We can already see some improvement coming in from Team Dominican, so of course all the rest can definitely go on ahead and do that as well. So it looks like Team Money though kind of losing their steam. That was a team that was at the top from the very beginning as well, winning our very first match, and now they're finding themselves in that 6th place position. So I guess the thing is that we knew that the beginning was going to be a little bit different from the end because all the teams kind of getting used to each other. It's now the consistent teams that are starting to find themselves do well over and over and over again. Definitely IT Official, Fuego. Those two teams we can definitely say. Everybody else at this point, let's see if they're going to go on ahead and finally figure out their stride as well.
Yeah, and I'm Team Butcher as well. This is a team that I feel like every match we've really been calling out their engagement, their performance. You can see they've got 17 kills as well. So fourth in terms of today's performance kill-wise. But they haven't really been able to close out the late game. They haven't found a booyah just yet. I think if this team can be able to maybe turn things out in their favor as we switch things up to Purgatory, that could be a big leap for them today. And the leaderboard, another thing as well, I think High Religion has been a team that has also kind of found themselves constantly fighting for compounds and buildings. They've really been chasing awkward situations, but I really like where their mind's at. I like their meta game. I like their macro game. I think that they just kind of have been walking into awkward situations where they keep getting pinched by multiple teams. So that's somebody I've got my eyes on.
Okay, so yeah, now going into a different map, maybe they'll play that a little bit differently. So we'll have to wait and see. As for man, I'm trying to think of another team that I feel like we're kind of expecting something different from. I mean, we just saw some really huge success coming through from La ONU. The first 3 matches, kind of a little bit rough. It was just kind of already joking from the very beginning. Oh, there's only like 2 of them alive at any one point, it seems. But now with 4 up, maybe going into these last 2 games, they finally figured out how to stay alive and be successful. And it looks like we're about to see if they can continue to do so going into our next match.
Absolutely, you guys. You see the yellow is up, and that means that the players are getting into the plane, and we're about to begin here as we switch things up to Purgatory. We have not had a repeat Booyah winner yet for this lobby. With 2 more matches to go, anything is possible. And with that, as we're going to see how the things go, whether or not R15 is going to chase for the blue zone again, if La Fuego can survive on the high ground of a hill, there are plenty here
Hopefully.
on Purgatory. I think that's my big fear for Fuego going into this match.
It's like probably, hopefully, we'll see. Probably for the first one. R15 at this point. I see you. I think I figured out how you play this game. Always going for that blue zone. I mean, the thing is like, I would like to say that I think it's kind of cool that they go for the blue zone and that, first of all, they know that they want to go there for the loot. That's an obvious. But 2, they're also playing pretty well. That means that they can start from anywhere on this map and still be able to perform. And I think that is a good mark for a team.
Absolutely. Now the flight path is a little bit low. You can see it looks like North Balance actually might be potentially, I don't know if they're staying in Ski Lodge or taking up a zip line. Nobody is going for Moat House, but oftentimes you do see teams fight for that Moat House position. But the other big position to fight for is Brasilia, because we've got those 2 islands out to the south to play from. Meanwhile, though, our first fight kicking things off right now is between Team Dominican and High Religion. Things are not looking good for Domini as he is taken down first. And oh, that time turner pops, but it's not going to be enough. Kurama falling here.
Yeah, here, nice push and get down there. We can see that the rest of them starting to make a run on over because High Religion, they now have the other team on the run. Let's see what Team Dominica is going to be able to do here. Another one goes down. No, run, Brigger, run. But of course, Italo has spotted them out. Oh, a little bit of a pause there. And, oh man, I mean, Team Dominican, they're just trying to get out at this point, but Italo is not going to let that happen. There we go. Instant scope in. It's only a matter of time, I feel like.
I mean, Brega really doesn't have much to cover from except for a handful of trees. You can see Italio running right into it. No glue walls, mind you. Italio has nothing for coverage here except for some helpful teammates. But Brega down very low. It's just going to be one more shot. Italio, no fear, running right into this. And there you have it. TM Dominican taken out in a heartbreaking start. But Onu, another team that you talked about now, set up right across the water. They've got team money. That they've managed to take 2 players out to start. It's just down to Flaco and Rubio. You can see are just trying to hide along the ridgeline away from Onu.
Yeah, and Onu's not giving up. We can see their little carrots getting even closer and closer as they're trying to look around. Maybe they won't check under this rock, though. That'll definitely be good for team money, and that's exactly what they're hoping for. Let's see, though. Santi now getting up on top of this bridge. If he goes a little bit further, maybe he'll be able to spot him out, but they're not figuring it out just yet. Only time will tell. Right now, though, we can definitely tell that Team Money they're holding their breaths. They're under that rock, holding their breaths, just waiting to see exactly what's going to happen. They can't run anywhere with the position that they're at on that southern island.
And you've got, a minute and 15 seconds till that first ring pops. And again, when we're out here on Purgatory, it could potentially swing towards one of these islands. We have occasionally seen a game end out in this direction. So if you're TM, if you're Onu, you don't want to necessarily give up one of these positions too early on. But speaking of giving up positions, IT finding an early fight here with JP. Freestyle gets knocked down. It's a bit of a trade between both teams. Nazi and taken down here by Patrona.
Oh, geez. Japro's definitely not happy about this being running into IT. It looks like Nosy goes down to Tati, now the last one up as Rav Kush finds himself down, and Tati's just trying to run away at this point, but cannot even find any cover. Triple kill, as you can see, they're top of the board. IT just still just being absolutely disgusting when it comes to fights and getting kills. We'll see if they're going to be making a move over to the next fight that's happening actually right beside them, where Fuego is actually joining where Laonu is. So we'll see if IT catches wind of that, because then it could be IT versus Fuego shortly.
And Fuego, another team that we've talked about, has the potential for that really strong advancement. Hasn't had a booyah just yet. So if they can take this fight to Onu and win against it, that could be huge. Now, the circle did in fact pop, by the way. We do have the mainland and both islands into this, so it could go back towards Brasilia. It could potentially go towards Golf Course and Quarry, but for the teams right here in Central, this is probably the most central position, pardon my pun, for this island. And so if Onu can beat out Fuego for this position, that could be huge, but they also do need to keep in mind that you've got IT official on this island as well. So 3 of our strongest teams right now in a very close position.
Yeah, you mean to tell me Central is Central? No, I'm just kidding. It does look like, for right now, Fuego is trying to figure out their approach at this point. I mean, they're up on top of the roofs. Onu kind of swarming right underneath them. Looks like the first knock is going onto the side of Onu, though. Axel, the top player for Fuego, is going to find himself down, and that's not looking too good as Axel gets some res. But Josh, no, and everybody's still back inside of the building. It looks like Onu, though, is being a little bit too split up, I will have to say, in this situation now. Fuego, though, they keep getting the reses come apart, while Onu, I don't think that they can get any real good reses because of their spread.
Oh my god, Uziel is just popping glue wall after glue wall after glue wall, trying to stay alive. Calvin actually falls there. Santi does as well, and Onu tried their best, but amazingly, Fuego will fully recover from this. They should pop off that res and stay 4 strong. Meanwhile, R15 had been rotating onto the backside here of Skull Breakers, and this fight has been taken down to the close range. Nades up, blue walls starting to go up and bust down, and you see Bestia has been bested here for R15, but Skull Breakers are really falling now. Maxima down at range, along with, it looks like, Palanki, excuse me. Only 2 members still up there for the Skullbreakers. So good playing to start from R15. But now they also kind of need to take up a decision. How much more pressure do they want to keep here on the last 2 members of the Skullbreakers? At least for right now, Superman's going to continue chasing after them.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. At this point, R15, you're right. They're just running in that direction, just straight over there. I mean, the thing is that's the direction of the zone anyway, so of course they're going to continue to chase. They know that they have the advantage. Half the team is gone. There's only half left, and that's where that's coming from. Meanwhile, we can see here, another fight happening. North Blood versus, of course, TBT, Team Butcher. They're stuck in a very tiny building. A lot of them keeps going down, and there we go. Some nades coming through. Elite 7 goes down. No, wait, Netha actually going to go ahead and survive that. The last one alive for his team. Let's see if he's going to be able to survive against the last 3. Team Butcher unable to do so, goes down. And back to that original fight, it looks like Skullbreakers were just not fast enough. R15 a tiny bit faster. Now it's just on to 1.
Bestia was picked back up now, and you see, there you go, Palanki taken down by Superman. It's going to be the VSS get that final kill here. And R15, recovery, got some utility and a good placement for the circle. You can see the ring closing in now, but again, now, if you're one of these teams, you got to decide how you want to play. No real reason for Fuego to leave this position just yet. Even if they cross the river, head towards Brasilia, there's still a chance the circle could hard shift back towards Golf Course, and so they've got that bridge that they can cross if they need to get to the other island. So you might see them keep their heads down for just a little bit. It's actually IT official that's in a little bit more of a tougher position, so the circle continue to head west, and that's why we see them right now wrapping with the cars, holding on to the coastline. That's going to give them a little bit more coverage from Fuego.
Well, I also just need to point out real quick that the very top right of this screen, that most definitely says only 7 teams are still alive. So there's so much action in a couple of these places. Looks like there's a few locations that these teams really wanted to play out of, and because of that, we're almost down to only half of the lobby. Just one more team needs to be eliminated for that to happen.
So we'll see. A contrast to the rest of the game.
No, it really is. Yeah, all the rest of them, everybody's been staying alive until the very, very end, especially the city ending that we were able to go ahead and grab. This time, the closest people to each other are Fuego and IT. Everybody else, eons away.
Yeah, and you talked a bit during the breaks about confidence that some of these teams were getting as they're getting used to the lobby. They're understanding the way that the rest of the teams not only are playing the circles, but just playing in general. And it looks like some of that confidence has built up from some of those teams that started off a little bit more careful, a little bit more slower in the first and second rings from the day. As again, you pointed out, we're down to just 7 teams, 5 completely eliminated, down to 25 players. It's definitely made things interesting throughout this lobby, I think, in contrast to the way we saw lobbies A and B play yesterday. So as this circle, though, gets ready to close, I'm kind of wondering, are we going to have an island circle, or are we going to continue having the water into play even, potentially?
You know, we can only wait and see. It'd be interesting if we continue to have the water, I will say, but obviously, just see, look at how spread everybody was. If the water was still in there, right, especially where the 2, little rivers meet, everybody is still going to stay on their land, and I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more, long-range fighting of some sort, but obviously we don't control that. We're going to have to wait and see where everybody's going to be forced to go. Team Money definitely hiding out there on the edge, same with C7, and very shortly, I have a feeling both of them might have to move, unless it somehow hard shifts into one of their directions. And here's the moment we've been waiting for.
Ooh, oh, okay. So it is a hard shift towards Brasilia, but you do have water taking up about 40% of this circle, if you include what's left of Golf Course and Central in part of this. So as Fuego does have the circle, now here comes the push from IT official, 2 of our more aggressive, kill-hungry teams from the day. And you can see Sanji has already seen Calvin, who is our current kill leader for the day right now, only killed 1, but I think last we saw 24, 28 kills so far in the day.
Something crazy, maybe even 26, who knows, just smack it right in the middle. 23, there we go, that's the correct answer. But anyway, I just pulled that from my brain, nobody else told me it whatsoever. Anyway, it looks like IT is starting to find Fuego in the back. This is exactly what I was kind of afraid of for Fuego. Fuego, they're just, they're over there for so long that they couldn't possibly have thought that there's somebody else that would be behind them. And so they're just confidently running to start making the cross, and IT is just going to spring completely out of nowhere. That 4 4-man already getting a knock onto one. It looks like they're trying to heal on up and get some sort of a res, but Fuego is just not ready to set up. Let's see what IT is going to do now. Sanji, no way, goes down actually. Two go down. It looks like Fuego might be turning this around.
Uziel really melting into players. Unfortunately, his nade is going to take himself out of the game as he got knocked in. You can see Patrona getting that res up, trying to keep IT official as a 3-man, but Sanji was flushed out. Calvin, though, trading it back out. MVPs goes down, and you can see Trimble trying to stay alive and heal up best they can at spotting Josh for taking those shots. That glue wall can't last for much longer.
It's not looking too good. There we go. Tremble goes down. Now it's just down to Patrona. Only one glue wall as well. And Axel, teammate Calvin, going to completely surround them. IT official is just going to be eliminated on that one. Once again, Fuego finding themselves in a bad situation, but somehow, because of their close proximity, they were able to continue to res each other. And unfortunately, IT could not.
That's a good start for them as well. And the big issue, of course, now becomes that the water cross, it is going to happen here. And some of those transitions has been a bit of a struggle for Fuego. So I'd like to see them get into Brasilia earlier than later, try to play the center zone and not have to worry too much about coming down from a high ground or an open ground position. Meanwhile, R15 continue to do well for themselves, finally rotating off the island, crossing the bridge and into the main zone. So we really just got Team Money and Fuego now, the only two teams who are still across the water.
We'll see. There's just not that many people. And look at that. Team Money is also really far away, starting to take some of that zone damage. Some of that. Oh, no. It's not looking too good for them. We'll see. They're going to be coming pretty late. They're going to be coming just out of golf course. And, I mean, if R15 decide to stay where they are, they might start getting held out. Meanwhile, High Religion, I mean, they were inside of this compound for a very long time, and here comes Fuego. High Religion, maybe they were able to set up something that they would be able to take Fuego down, but Fuego is just down to a 3-man left. Will this 3-man be able to take down an entire 4-man, or will it be the opposite? It looks like they're just kind of booking it at this point. High Religion not seemingly wanting to chase.
Oh, this has me so scared because guess what? It's Fuego out in the open on a hill, and we know how that ends for this team. But, I mean, when you've got to rotate, head to the zone, this might be the best option. Unfortunately, doing so on the edge of the UAV here. R15 actually coming in to meet them on the edge of zone. You can see Superman there on the map. Meanwhile, HR just checking to make sure nobody has been left behind. Nobody's hiding out, and they might actually wait until the final moment to push into zone, but that comes with its own set of risks. That said, down to 16s, 19 players left alive. And Team Money also, once again, still has not crossed the water. So they've got 2 players left alive that need to get into zone.
Yeah, they're stuck. They're not moving. They're literally just on the outskirts of golf course, and they're not even taking a foot towards that bridge. They're just waiting for everybody else to destroy each other. And honestly, that's not that bad of an idea. Looks like High Religion are also now on the move, but we can see that C7 here are just about to run into Fuego. Fuego kind of camping out underneath that bridge. Nowhere else for them to really go. For a hot second there, I really thought that R15 was going to be running into them, but then they decided to go on ahead and actually go up into the compounds that they're now at. And at that point, it looks like Fuego decided not to be at the top of a mountain, but instead at the bottom. And of course, that creates its own issues as well. It's going to be really hard to come out from underneath that bridge if the zone decides to go somewhere else.
I'm really curious how this is going to play for them, especially because Team Money, we said, has very slowly been working their way towards the zone. Finally left golf course, took a couple shots there onto Fuego. It does connect, but they did not find the knock. And you can see now Rubio, Flacco, they've got to pay attention to getting in zone as well. They do have pretty much the entirety of the bridge into zone to play, but I'm curious if C7 or some of the other teams that are also across the way can see them, because that will make a vulnerability here for Team Money.
Doesn't look like C7 is making a move just yet. Meanwhile, Fuego and R15, though, starting to duke it out. Axel goes down, and Fuego is actually eliminated because of that. Shut down from R15. All 4 of them still alive. 8 kills in total. This next zone is going to pop, and they're just on the very southern edge of it. That means that C7 have to make it in. Team Money have to make it across this bridge. Then it's just down to High Religion and North Blood left.
I mean, this is almost a little trolly, but I love it. I love seeing Team Money just keep their heads down, try to stay out of sight, out of mind. We saw them poke a little bit at Fuego, helping R15 out in that. And you can see even C7. They've actually traveled so much this match. I mean, they were almost at the 7 o'clock. You know, when you look at the circle, the zone, now completely rotating back around to the north, this time on top of North Blood. And this could be tricky. I mean, you've got a little bit of open areas. Northblood does have a compound, but if C7 hope to get in the zone, they're going to have to fight Northblood for that position.
It looks like they're slowly getting closer and closer. Northblood hasn't quite figured it out just yet, but here we go. C7 starting to make that first push, so not inside that zone. And honestly, if Northblood, if they're looking that direction, it's not going to be good for C7 whatsoever. That's all I have to say. Meanwhile, looks like High Religion, no way, starting to make that push onto R15, actually sharing the buildings right next to each other. They spotted out Team Money from afar as well, but first they got to focus on the enemies that are literally directly on top of them. Not push just yet, but Dalba's down, and oh, Kathy, ooh, here we go, starting to cut the push through.
I can see those grenades are primed, ready to be thrown, and R15 just trying to keep the pressure on HR to make sure that that push doesn't fully come up the stairs and into their spot. Now, Bestia actually is going to run up right behind HR does do some damage, doesn't find the knock. It is going to pull back, try to recover. They've lost Dalba, so R15 down to just 3 players. But, I mean, this compound that they've been fighting for is not even in the zone anymore, so they do need to be a little bit mindful on this fight. Make sure they don't waste too much time, too many resources, or else they're going to get caught out by Northblood or potentially Team Money. The other 2 teams still alive outside of this.
Yeah, Northblood are able to win their fight up on the northern side versus C7, so now they're the ones that are going to be holding in the northern side of that zone. And if these teams down here on the southern side that are fighting wait too long, I mean, Team Money, you're right, and Northblood could just wait, could just hold this position. They can obviously hear the fighting that is happening over here, and they just need to be looking in this direction for whoever the winner is to start coming out of there. Unfortunately, though, it looks like High Religion is actually going to go ahead and get a knock onto Northblood. Of course, Team Money is going to steal that. That's quite interesting that they would go ahead and get a kill onto somebody on the northern side when they're currently in a fight right now. Yaro, Italo, no way going down, and R15, they're just walling themselves in. It's just down to Harub left. Let's see if he's going to be able to do something here as the blue zones are closing.
Bestia really trying to stay up and alive through this, but HR able to mostly recover, and there you go. You can see all of the threat between Northblood. Right now, north of the road, and Boss, 11 glue walls, 10 glue walls now starting to choose the fight. I think closing in, staying as center as possible. The ring really going to put the remaining 6 players together. Nice throw nades, from Esteban. Who this next one, that could be enough to do it. Does get the flush. Hyru still up here for HR.
So let's see, it's a 2v2v1. Hyru has at least a lot of walls, but as you can see, that circle is starting to close very quickly. Not going to be inside of safety for long. Meanwhile, Northblood starting to take a fight with 2 teams at once. This could be bad for them. Here we go. Team Money starting to make a push. Let's see if High Religion might be able to do something out of this, though, as well from this solo. Esteban goes down. No way, Hiru. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it down to one of the team members from Team Money. One goes down as well. What? High Religion is out, and that's it. I think Team Money took that.
Yeah, I think Rubio got the final kill there in the last moment, and the second booyah goes to Team Money. I believe, let me get confirmation, it was Team Money that got the victory there at the end. It was just absolutely wild close. As you saw, there's 3 teams, plenty of glue walls, throwables out there at the end, and just such a wild finish there.
Complete and utter chaos. I mean, honestly, 2 of the fights that are happening on the north and southern side as well, we just figured that whoever the winners were going to be from those fights were going to have to go against Team Money at the end. Team Money, they just got to chill out and see who they're going to be going out at the very end. They knew where everybody was coming from. Meanwhile, Team Money, they were just being the most quietest team ever coming across that bridge. Team Money, they played that perfectly. I don't really know.
I almost wrote them off. I almost wrote them off. They were hanging out in golf course, sitting in the blue. They took a couple of pop shots against Fuego, and I thought, you're just announcing yourselves. Like, have you given up? But no, Team Money had a plan. They kept things low, and this is, again, a low kill win for them, but a win is a win. 16 points more up on the board. That's going to keep them there to the mid, but Northblood finding 17 kills the game. R15, beautiful game for them with 16 kills. High Religion in third with 15 points for 7 kills. 9 kills for R15. But and Fuego, again, heartbreaking. 8 kills, but once again, found themselves out in the open, rotating on a hill. This time they did die at the train station, but something's got to change a little bit for them. It seems like it's those transitions that keep catching them time and time again.
It's actually, I find it quite interesting that they seem to prefer to be on, natural ground. They like being up on top of the hill. They like being underneath the bridge or still on the ground, and they don't necessarily like pushing towards compounds. I'm curious as to why. Maybe they think that that's the place where it's going to be free and open, and everybody else is going to start prioritizing those compounds. But then obviously their downfall is that they don't have cover. So I don't know. We'll have to see if something's going to change. But let's see. Last game kills. Oh, man. That was like almost aesthetically pleasing with 4s across the board. But of course, Tremble from IT is going to have to ruin it. No, I'm just kidding. All of them are going to get 4 from Calvin, Fuego, Haru from High Religion, North Blood. Esteban gets 4 as well. Superman from R15 with 4. And of course, Tremble from IT with 3 for most amount of kills. I do have to say, I feel like everybody kind of got, like, the kills are more spread out this match.
Absolutely. I mean, Sanji was taken out a little bit early. We see he's still the kill leader for the day, 24. I think he picked up 1 for that game. But Trimble, Axel, Boss, Calvin, these are some players that we've seen a lot of consistency match after match. They've been winning their fights, winning their engagements, and really helping pull the weight for some of their squads. And, you know, when we see some of these players go out early, we can see the effect that it has on some of these rosters. But that's not to say that these are the star players for the teams. A lot of work's been put in by IT Official as a whole, Fuego as a whole, and even Northblood, once again, finding that late game presence there in the final match. So as we take a look at the overall leaderboard, this is just for groups C and D playing today. IT Official up to 85 points. Fuego, though with no booyahs, still in second place.
And look at that. We finally got a team that was able to pick up 2 booyahs, and that is in fact going to go to Team Money. They won our first match. If only this was our last match, then they could have started off strong and ended off strong. But we do have 1 match left. They have 2 booyahs so far. They're only in 5th place, though, so they need to go on ahead and continue to get maybe a little bit more kill points and a little bit more placement points otherwise. Meanwhile, we see our 15 Official starting to move up a little bit. Now in 6th place, Skullbreaker and Team Dominican all the way at the bottom, still kind of fighting it out for that last spot there, both with 14 points now. I'm interested to see who's going to be able to pull out of there for our very last match.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we've kind of seen some consistency from some of these teams, like IT Official, who found the scoring chances game after game. Even Fuego, they're constantly picking up 8+ kills every single match, and so that's why we see them with a total of 34 kills. But everybody else, as you kind of pointed out earlier, has kind of had their kills spread out. La ONU with 21 kills, everybody else about into the teens until you look at our bottom 3 teams: C7 with 9, Dominican with 4, and Skullbreaker with 2, and it's been an interesting day for sure. Now, that said, for so many of those teams, especially the ones at the bottom, they've got nothing to lose today. They want to end today strong. We might see more hot drops, more aggressive pushes, and maybe even just a little bit more of kind of a run, you know, for some of that early fighting where some of those other teams have traditionally kept their heads down.
I agree. I definitely agree. I want to see some early fighting from some of these guys, maybe a little bit more towards the middle and the bottom, because at this point, this is the very last game of the first day, and I think that they should attempt to try and end it off high. Definitely just maybe even force a couple more big points before this first weekends for them. So hope to see some chain fighting, some good fights coming through from a couple of these teams.
Absolutely. And it looks like we're almost ready to go, guys. So once we see that yellow start, we'll know that we're in to get our final match of the day. And it will be our final match for groups C and D, but we will return, remember, next week for more Free Fire Pro Series action. Will return on November 21st with groups A versus D, followed by groups November 27th, groups A versus C, and then the 28th with B and D. So we're going to shake things up. The teams that played each other today, they're going to be able to play new teams going into the next week. And that just shows how important performing on your days are. Because when we look at the overall mixed leaderboard at the end of today, we'll see how well all 4 of these lobbies, stack up against each other.
Exactly. Everybody, I believe I heard you mention this yesterday, that everybody from C and D are definitely going to be watching the games to kind of analyze groups A and B. And I assume the same is happening today. A and B definitely should be watching C and D. And then after the end of this week, a lot of VOD review is going to happen in play, because coming into next week, that is going to be the halfway point, basically. Because there's only 3 weeks. So after the second week, that's really where you're going to have to continue to really play well, because if you don't do well and you get to the halfway point, then it's just going to be even harder and harder to go ahead and get into the top 8, where you obviously want to be to move straight into the grand final.
Okay, so we had a slight delay real quick as we're waiting for one team to get some things fixed before we can get this final match start. So do bear with us for a moment. I do want to point out again. So we are looking at the series format where group stage is where right now we've got 3 weeks of play. We're about to come to the end of week number 1, but we'll have 2 more to go. And then the top teams will move forward to the grand final. 9th through 20th will have the last chance for the qualifier, and 4 teams from the last chance qualifier will get to move on to the final as well. So if you're a team and maybe you've just had a bad group stage, you can always try to come back and get into good form to the last chance qualifier. But that is a huge risk because, again, only 4 teams move ahead. And that's why when we're talking about teams that are struggling a bit, we're saying, yeah, we all have our off days, but you got to make sure you come back stronger onto this. And so,
Mhm.
uh, that said, I mean, on the flip side of it, yesterday, La Baya, phenomenal day, 109 points. They just dominated in terms of kills. Today, we're seeing that with IT Official. We're seeing that with Fuego. Even La Money. I know they're getting low kill games, but they're constantly making it the late game. They've got 2 Booyahs to show for it. So if they can find a way to start getting kills, that's going to make them a really big threat moving forward in the group stage.
At this point, I was also interested to see if any team was also going to be breaking 100 points, just like a B. At this point, it doesn't quite seem like that is going to happen, but that just makes me more excited to see what is going to happen to that top team once they start playing against a different group. You know what I mean? So see if instead it's going to change a little bit once they start playing against teams such as IT, such as Fuego, such as the teams towards the top. And obviously, I'm getting way ahead of myself because that's not this last match. That is next week. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Otherwise, you're right. Let's see what's going to happen coming into this last one. Will someone new entirely get it? Will somebody get their second, or will Team Money be able to pick up their third booyah? We'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, if I had to guess, I mean, Money, they obviously know how to play these matches very well, even if there's only down to 2 of them. So if they end up getting in another hard situation like that on the same map, I might put my bets towards them, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I think another thing too that I'm going to be really curious and mindful of is to see whether or not Northblood can also come out with a win again, because I really think that they've got good mindset to not only get the squad where they need to be to play the circles, to even bully and keep the pressure. I mean, that was a very close in game that Team Money won, and I think that had Hyrule pushed any other way across the street away from Northblood, there was a potential they could have come out winners on that fight. But unfortunately, their attention was split between 2 members of Team Money and Hyrule pushing at the same time. And it just was a really hard position for them to hold, even with all the glue walls up. So that's a team that
Yeah.
I think could also potentially have a strong finish today. And so we'll take another quick look at the overall leaderboards. You guys can see Northblood is just 8 points there behind Fuego in third place. In fact, of our top leaders, Fuego the only one without a booyah. R15 official, though, not too far behind the top 5, also without a booyah yet. And in fact, if anything, I wouldn't say R15 had kind of a weak start today, but they have been looking fantastic as the evening has gone on.
I don't disagree, and I'm kind of curious as to why that is. I think maybe part of it is that 2 out of their games so far, they've run straight into Fuego, and then they didn't. In one of them, they died to Fuego, and the other one they didn't. Though. Oh, I think I got that wrong. I think they kind of just got shooken up by Fuego in both times, and then both of those times, I don't think they ended up doing too well. So maybe it's just them running into Fuego those 2 matches that kind of shook them up. They ended up not performing as well, but now that they've gotten later into the game, they kind of haven't been running into Fuego as much, and I've been noticing that they've been getting a lot more kills because of it.
Well, there you go, guys. It is time for Game 6 to start. The yellow means that we're going to be getting in the plane here in just a few seconds. We've got one final match here on Purgatory Lobbies C versus D. Make sure you stay tuned after the game so you can not only see who our leaderboards for today, how they land, but how all 4 lobbies stack up against each other at the end of week 1. And with that, though, we'll see who gets this 6th and final booyah of the day. Man, I don't know about you, but I am so excited.
I can hardly contain my excitement, as you can tell from my face and my voice. I actually am. I'm interested to see who's going to go ahead and take this last one, especially since they're a little bit more used to each other. Finally, at this point, there should be no excuses. Oh, I didn't expect this team to do X. At this point, it's game 6. So having some high expectations coming into this one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the fights that are happening. I see the blue zone in the distance, and I already know where R15 is dropping as well.
You know, and it's fun too because regardless of the blue zone being there, Moat House is oftentimes a place that we see really fought after early on with the flight path a little bit closer this time. I think we could potentially see more teams go for it. HR dropped Ski Lodge last time. I thought that they might have potentially been going for Moat House. No, excuse me, that was actually Northblood. So I'm actually see maybe if Northblood's going out for this position, JP even might be potentially fighting out for that. But speaking of fighting, Fuego, IT official, 2 of our leading teams right here in the beginning. Calvin taking out Sanji, Maxima popping off.
It's not looking too good. There we go. Already tossing down a ton. Whoa! A ton of time turners. They were really hoping. He knew that he needed to get inside that time turner, but unfortunately it just did not work out. Now let's see what Trumbull is going to do. This is the second best team member from IT. Looks like it's just down to him and Sanji. There we go. Taking down super low. No way. Axel coming in from behind. Let's see. Trumbull now the last one alive. Taking a lot of shots towards the last couple of members of Fuego. Axel, though, is going to be able to come out on top. Unfortunately, IT just could not hold that, and now Fuego will be able to get these 2 reses, and it looks like they'll be able to continue with a 3-man. That's... what a way to start off this match.
Yeah, and meanwhile as well, Skullbreakers actually able to pick off 3 kills, 3 members of TM Dominica. Just Kurama is left, and Kurama got out of there as quickly as possible. And what we theorized with Moat House has happened. 2 teams going for it, including R15, who's been chasing the blue zone all day long. You can see Bestia, a little bit fun with the camouflage there versus C7, calling out some information there, the rest of that teammates. But inside the Moat House, R15 has this. If they want to get back across safely, they do need to be a little bit careful here of the C7 members who look like they're going to go ahead and take the compound across the moat.
I guess if R15 want to leave it a little bit early, they might just go to the zip line up onto the northern side. But you're right. I wonder if C7 is going to go ahead and loot up down here. I wonder if they're going to attempt to hold out R15, or if they're just going to go on ahead and go about their merry way once the first zone pops. Obviously, we won't know that until about a minute and a half until that actually happens. But R15, I do think, just to be safe, I would go up the zip line to the north. Oh, who's hiding underneath the dock? Is that Team Dominican?
I think so. I think it is Kurama, who, again, we saw try to leave away from Skullbreakers. The 3 kills Skullbreakers had is TM Dominica. So with 1 player left, it is going to be a little bit of worry for Kurama, especially depending on where this first ring will pop. We've got a minute until we see where that goes. Meanwhile, HR pulled pretty much away from everybody else. And C7, who actually just completely left Mo House behind, is coming up the backside of the Butchers. So they need to be a little bit careful because Butchers have been on quite a killing spree today.
Yeah, it looks like the Butchers, I wonder if they feel like there's somebody over here on this eastern side. They're actually running straight towards Ski Lodge that has North Blood. So I think we're about to see yet another fight happen. They're just going to go ahead and skirt by C7. Didn't run into them there, but we can see Boss in the distance. Boss taken out too early in a couple of matches so far. Let's see if he's going to be able to kind of turn this around for his team, as now Butchers are definitely upon them. There we go. Already starting it off. Blue is going to get a knock on a Boss. No way. A Boss once again, but the res instantly comes through. Let's see. Butchers now. They're just being 100% aggressive.
I mean, this is just so wild right now. Butchers, right, actually have North Blood pretty much pinned down from every direction, and Strong is just running right now, trying to close the gap, make sure they can catch any potential for them to pull out of this area. And the ring, did actually pop. And so if North Blood want to get in, they need to find an escape. And it's actually going to be inside the Ski Lodge where they're going to go from. And I'm curious now if the chase is going to follow through with the Butchers. It looks like a couple utilities thrown back in. Blue going out to investigate, but not quite sure if they're going to follow them all the way through. So interesting play to say the least. But that said, the circle is kind of far away. So I'm curious if these two might meet back up should the Butchers not choose to chase.
I would assume so, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm kind of curious if the butchers like knew somebody was over there, probably saw them go over there, or if they decided they just wanted a little bit more loot. But unbeknownst to us, they're now separating for now, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at a different team. Fuego looks like they're hiding in some stacks of lumber as Onu is trying to make a push towards them. Uzia, oh, he needs to get out of here as Onu is actually seemingly hunting them down, and that is a big open space ahead of him that he's gonna have to try and traverse.
I hear you say open space, and with Fuego, that just makes me so scared.
Oh.
But Onu, I mean, and all of them, 4-man strong. We've seen what can happen when you let this team exist together in numbers, and that's a scary team to be up against. So Fuego do need to be a little bit careful. Speaking of teams that need to be careful, HR running after Skull Breakers. You've got Yard here that's actually a little bit separated now, trying to close back the gap. So I'm not sure if the members of Skull Breakers did take shots. Yep, there are. In fact, you can see the glue walls going up, trying to protect some of that damage.
And it looks like Yara so far is going to be able to make it potentially. There we go. Now safely at that tree. A couple more bullets in that direction. They're going to go on ahead and get in their rides and get out of there. They're going to start driving into that zone, and they don't have to deal with that fight just yet. It looks like the majority of this zone, by the way, is over on the eastern side. So interested to see where people are gonna go, but I don't know if I quite expected to see Fuego deciding to just go all the way down out of the map, basically down on that southeastern side there. We can see it's just Jusper and Axel left.
Yeah, I don't know if the play here is to maybe use the zip lines to rotate back around, maybe go towards Lumber Mill and Fire Brigade, but even if they avoid what's left here of North Blood and some of the other teams in this area, you've still got to worry about Onu, who's across the water. So at this point, Fuego might just be looking for scoring chances, no longer for the Booyah. But I mean, again, we've seen 2-mans pull off Booyahs through the day, so you can't really discount any team this early yet. And speaking of HR, actually managed to go from as far north as they were to now the very center of the circle, as they set up right across the water. So for the way that this current zone is looking, I think this is a great position for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to get comfortable. Actually, I think that isn't that the building that they were in last match as well when Fuego ended up running up on top of them. So I think I found a favorite building of theirs there. I think they went to the same exact one. It is inside zone, so why not? And now they just get to wait until this next one is going to pop. I mean, slowly is closing. Meanwhile, Onu, they're starting to make their way across. They're just underneath campsite. You can see that, wow, Fuego really is, in fact, making a big wraparound over there on that eastern side. And North Blood, they're just cautiously waiting a little bit longer. Butchers left a long time ago, already towards the center as well.
Yeah, you can see a lot of teams that, it's really a big separation. You've got a whole lot of teams playing the edge, holding onto the edge. Yeah. Team Money, definitely an edge team. Even North Blood, they really try to hold on to the edge and try and wait so they can have a good control of the north. So we don't see them overextending too far. Even if they were to wrap to the north now, that circle could hard shift, and that would just be wasted time for travel. So for them to hold on to the eastern edge could get them a stronger northern position, depending on where this next circle goes. Meanwhile, though, R15 sending it straight center, and this time taking themselves right on top of C7. So 0 kills to show for this match, but we've really seen them turn up this aggression. So I'm curious to see how this push onto the compound works out for them right now as they trying to figure out how to spot C7, who's gone upstairs.
C7 didn't win their fight last match to get into the very late game, so let's see if they'll be able to win this match to get into the late game. R15, you already said it, seemingly is becoming more aggressive, able to win a couple more fights, and they're trying to flush out C7, it seems. C7, they don't want to take this fight just yet. I mean, it's still so early. It's still only Circle 1, only Circle 2 is about to pop 11 teams. They don't necessarily want to take that fight. They have the advantage right now, staying inside the building, so they're just going to wait for R15 to come to them.
The stairs. It's absolutely scary, but you can see the shotguns are out. This is the play to have with the building. And oh, that nade! Dariel Jordy taken down there by Doba. Great play. You can see the rest of R15 there to support Superman. Pushing up the stairs is going to get a nice knock onto Nebi. Doba taking down Ricky, and things are not looking good for C7 as they get eliminated.
Nice jump in from Daba there. Yeah, just shotguns everywhere. I don't think that they're quite ready for that one whatsoever. Nice play coming in from R15. Now we can see that they had the center. Now that this zone hard shifts down to the southeastern side, they're going to have to move a little bit further. So now nobody's quite in the center. Everybody is kind of on even grounds once again, except we can see a couple teams very far away. Look at the complete opposite side of this map. Kurama from Team Dominican is still alive up there as a solo. We got to wait for Skull Breakers as well to start getting inside this zone, and Japros. So just a couple.
I love the circle hard shifted this far because Fuego, who for almost any other reasons, I said don't write anybody off, but the way that they're playing, I was like, maybe they're just tapped out, maybe they're done, but this is a good circle for them. They can play the edge on campsite. The problem though is Onu has left a lumber mill. They've crossed the water, and they are just a stone's throw away from Fuego. So I'm curious to see if they can survive this, because guess what? Fuego, out in the open, up on a hill, and we know what that means.
I hope they don't have to go down it. That's all I can say. Meanwhile, Onu at campsite, we'll see. They like playing edge, so they're not going to go ahead and move towards Fuego just yet. It definitely, at this point, there's so many teams outside of the zone that I have a feeling that everybody already inside zone probably already figures that, so they don't want to get in a fight just yet until the majority of the people are already here. They want to try and stay alive to get those placement points just as much as the next person. So, and that's about to be closed, and the next one revealed very shortly. There it is. And, oh man, it's like, at this point, well, that danger zone at this point, first of all, is not a good look for them, but also everybody else that's now finding themselves way outside of this zone, such as Japros now coming in on this northern side, if they run into the Butchers or Fuego, or even both of them, it's not going to be a good situation for them, especially because there's zero cover.
Japro's playing the edge, trying to keep themselves up to the late game. It worked for them a couple matches ago. I believe it was Kalahari, where we saw them up to the late game. Team Money, meanwhile, also having to finally leave the islands, playing the edge of so. We might just see them stop across the bridge and not move far beyond this. And in fact, you can see the danger zone off in the distance. Now, danger zone is in Brasilia, and we've actually got a couple of teams already in there. R15 in Brasilia, even Northblood inside the town as well. So for the teams that are choosing to opt for the edge, you've got Skull Breakers here. You can see who are just wrapping around the train station right now. I do also want to point out that we do have a couple of solos still up and alive as well. Kurama for Team Dominica rotating in behind JP. So you've got a couple of players that are just straggling behind. And I'm curious. I'm curious how things are going to play here, because you've kind of got a contrast. You've got all of this urban area and a lot of stuff out in the open. But speaking of out in the open, Onu, you got to be watching out right now.
Oh no, yeah, they're starting to take a fight with Team Money. Just crossed that bridge and straight into a fight, it seems. It looks like Team Money, though, no way. Adelia goes down, but they have 2 knocks onto Onu. Only 2 of them now are left. There we go. A ton of glue walls being placed immediately. It's just down to Prince and teammate left. So many glue walls. Everybody is just trapped at this point. So let's see if Milo and Prince are going to be able to do something at this point. Rubio just trying to hold on. There's 2 teammates in the very center of those glue walls. Not going to be able to get res just yet, and a ton of nades are just being tossed out. They just need to place one perfectly, and they haven't quite caught it just yet. Just one more, please, Prince. But it looks like they don't have any left. Oh, man. There we go. The res, though, through the wall. Now it's back to a 3v4.
Oh my gosh, Team Money actually managed to get all those reses off. You can see the glue walls really work out in their favor, but Prince actually picked one off here. Their Team Money, while they were able to get back alive, were essentially trapped inside their own protection here with the glue walls. Mario, the rest of Onu, trying to take shots from every angle. Milo was actually going to be able to get another member down. Monkey flushed out. And here you go, Team Money, nowhere left to hide.
Wow, oh man, and if they were just able to continue to hold them inside of that little brick there, that would have been insane. There we go, just one left. Just go ahead and smack them one last time. That is Team Money being taken out. Onu somehow being able to turn that around, even though they had the little less players. Unfortunately, you can't trap yourself between glue walls and attempt, it seems like. Another fight, though, while that fight was happening, this one popped out off R15 versus Northblood. Let's see, R15 still all up, but of course they're being chased by Northblood. Doba is going to be the first one that's taken down, but instantly the trade attempted to happen with that shotgun, and looks like Minia is still alive in the very center of this chaos, and that's about it. R15 still able to hold on. It's just 2 left. 2 meaning 1 as Esteban now falls.
Meanwhile, Fuego does get eliminated out on the western side. That fight with JT finally coming to an end. But this fight with R15, as you pointed out here with North Blood, is about to get even more crowded now, is up on the hillside. You've got the Butchers taking shots and stealing kills out from this position strong. Meanwhile, is just keeping a watchful eye on this compound. The rest of the teammates make sure that they have a good and safe position up here on the hill. Minaya, excuse me, from North Blood, the last player still remaining. The problem for these teams, though, they are not in the zone. Meanwhile, Karama also has some spot out, and that is it for Team Dominica.
Yeah, not good for them. They're out. Oh, it looks like Strong is going to be taken out as well. Just 2 of them are going to be left. This zone did end up going where nobody is inside of it, all the way down to the western side. Looks like North Blood Minaya was going to be the first one in, but instead they're going to be running straight into a member from R15. Once again, he was trying to get away for the longest time, but nope. Ooh, O'Malley almost ended up getting that kill right there. This whole 3-man trying to chase this one solo. They're about to find him, and it looks like, there we go, some damage going through. He's just running for him. Minaya, he does not want to fight whatsoever. He is dodging all of those bullets, but Bestia does look like he's finally going to go on ahead and be able to pick that one up. I was kind of rooting for the runner at that point, but back to another fight, of course. It looks like Onu is kind of overlooking a fight inside this building with High Religion and, of course, Skull Breakers.
And as this is happening as well, R15 wasting absolutely no time to get into the Prio compound just north of this fight. So HR keeping that pressure there onto Onu, but it doesn't matter. Onu's going to trade it back out. Now Okati here, third party, picking off a member of HR. There's 4 teams in this engagement now. Of the 6 left alive, Prince falling, unfortunately, here. And you can see it's just absolute carnage right now between all these squads. The glue wall helping that recovery there for Onu. It looks like HR trying to work on a res as well, but they're getting way too much pressure. It's actually good minds. Nice nade there thrown by Doba, and that's it. High Religion finding themselves eliminated. Amazingly enough, R15's been able to sneak entirely in behind this.
Lunky only is a matter of time as well for Skull Breaker, slowly taking a ton of damage being hit by that ring. And I mean, R15, they've been picking up a good amount of kills. Look at that. They have 11 so far. There we go. Also finding out Prince from Onu. Onu instantly going for that res. The only thing that could really hurt them right now is maybe Depros for Life is going to be able to spot them out, do some damage. Once again, a hard shift, not back down to the western side, but instead to the northeast. And the only team that's there is, of course, Team Butchers. So everybody has to make a rotation towards them. There's only 2 of them left, though. They need to control this.
Onu just went right past Toddy, who's been lying prone, trying not to be spotted there, and that could spell trouble for them as they keep their backs to Toddy. Might be able to get a surprise kill onto this. But speaking of kills, R15 taken down strong there with the nade, and it's just an absolute rain of utility here. Triple kill now as Butcher is eliminated. And look at this, Onu struggling to stay alive now as well.
They just pushed straight towards that. They were so confident they were going to take the Butchers down there. I don't even think the Butchers knew what exactly hit them as they were taken out. Let's see now. Team Onu, the solo is coming up behind them right now. Let's see. Toddy hasn't gotten them just yet. There we go. Prepping some nades as well. He's just been a solo for the longest time, but Onu seemingly has spotted him just in time. So we'll see. They're currently the ones in the center right now. Kind of a tiny bit of a reset in a way, but Callie ends up going down. Bestia, the last one up for R15. Prince definitely spotting them out, and they're just going to go ahead and end up splitting up their attention. No way, shut down, and that is a win for them. They're the ones that are in the center, but they're going to go ahead and take that booyah for themselves.
Absolute a double booyah, excuse me, second booyah of the evening there for Onu. They won one on Kalahari, now picking up one here on Purgatory. This was a team, again, we talked about having a rough start today. They just had trouble keeping their squad up, keeping their squad together. But when you let that team stay up to the late game, they absolutely destroyed. They hunt, and it's been such a pleasure to watch them play today.
I don't disagree. I mean, it's always nice to see as well teams that are struggling at the beginning slowly figure out what they need to be playing with. I like to see that progression. It's unfortunate that they're struggling at the beginning, but they definitely figured out towards the end. And at the very end of that match there, I seriously thought that it wasn't going to be Onu that wins, because they were the ones that were in the center. I really thought that one solo was going to go on ahead and ruin a game, just like we've seen solos do so even today already, but that was not the case. They somehow were able to sniff out that solo right behind them, and I do gotta say though, I also have to go on ahead and shout out R15 as well from that match because they got so many kills and they just absolutely pushed Butchers at the end there with no hesitation. Like I didn't even realize that they were already on top of them tossing utility until Butchers were already gone. So R15 also were absolute beasts that match as well.
Yeah, and I really just think kind of beast the latter half through the day as they got more confident with the lobby. Really started to see R15 official pick up high kills match after match after match. As we can see here, they picked up 14 kills, tying in points for 22 versus Laonu. Laonu with 10 kills this game had the booyah. Job pros for life. Also, once again, up in the late game, Tadia, which remember, HR drove right past them, went right past them to get in the zone, able to surprise up at the end, use that utility, use those glue walls to get a kill, as well as some good placement points for their squad. So really well played by a lot of these teams. I also do want to point out, even though Fuego went out early, they still managed to pick up 5 kills for a total of 7 points this game. So that is going to help them overall on the day's leaderboard.
It is. And this time, this match, last match on the same map, everybody kind of got a more even amount of kills. This time, totally flung out the window. There was definitely a couple of teams that just got so many kills. And no, it looks like the streak is broken. Sanjay is not on this list once again. Instead, R15 almost completely dominates it. Instead, Dauba in first with 5 kills, then Prince from Onu with 4, Bestia with 4, Superman with 4, and Axel from Fuego with 3. So not quite surprised to see R15 up there so much because they were absolutely dominating with the 14 kills that they were able to grab that time.
Yeah, and we're missing Okathy from that list, but Okathy looked great. So with that, as I think we've got the overall replays for the day, so we're going to go through that really quickly and just see how everybody did today. And just kind of starting things back off. Remember, I mean, SKB, Skullbreakers have been in fights after fights. They just kind of struggled to complete their kills. On the flip side of that, R15, that was the team, as we just kind of got done talking about, that really found themselves in good scoring situations.
Exactly. And even some of these other teams, there we go. We can see Onu there being able to finish up a couple of fights. They ended up kind of getting smushed at the beginning, I think, because they kept running into Fuego. And after a while, they slowly started figuring out their stride and were able to figure out how their team needed to fight in this lobby. There we go. We can see Fuego, speaking of them, definitely definitely the hot streaks of this match, I gotta say, this day. Just absolutely insane when it comes to fights.
Yeah, I mean, this win right here for IT Official, and again, versus teams like Team Money that and R15, right, that had that placement up to the end, that were finding themselves in some of those crazy waves where we'd sit there and say, sure, they're not getting some of those high scorings, but they're finding themselves up in the late game time after time again. And another team that had a lot of consistency in a heartbreaking way was Fuego. This is another instance of them stuck on the side of a hill and trying to get back out of it, but they're pinched by the Butchers, by a couple of other squads, and unfortunately are going to end up dying here. I think Calvin was the last player left alive in this fight. And so for some of the teams, it did perform well today, but maybe not up to the expectations. Definitely go back, rewatch the VODs, and learn, because this lobby is going to be mixed up next week.
Definitely. And all those amazing players that we saw yesterday, they're going to start being mixed in with these amazing players. The lobbies are going to be completely different. Even though some teams did amazingly this week, next week everything could change, because it all just comes down to who's in what lobby, getting used to that lobby, the energy in that lobby. You know what I'm trying to say. Every single lobby is different. Of course, we can go on ahead and guesstimate what's going to happen, but really it just comes down to what they can show us. And we can definitely see that a lot of these teams are capable, so we can only wait and see if they're going to be able to continue that.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, once again, we're seeing Fuego up on this list, Onu up on these lists, two teams that we really saw bring aggression, bring kills, and I think find not only confidence in this lobby, but should potentially perform well at this level as things mix up going forward to next week. North Blood, they did have a booyah on game number 3. Again, there was a big potential for them to have won this match that we just saw the replay for, but unfortunately, kind of getting pinched in 2 different directions, weren't able to clutch that out. Money getting one of their 2 booyahs from that. And IT Official, I mean, they were so close to breaking 100 points. We'll see after this match where they ultimately ended up, and not only where the day's leaderboards are, but the overall, the overall leaderboards, which is going to be combined, the teams that played yesterday and the teams today. But I think Onu definitely going to be one of the ones that, if I had to look back on today, that I would say between ONU and R15 that I was really not only surprised from, but really loved to see the way that they grew
Yeah.
in this lobby.
I couldn't agree more. They definitely were the ones that were figuring out how they needed to play in this lobby. They did amazingly, but of course, we got to go ahead and take a look at that overall leaderboard with everybody from all of the groups A, B, C, and D. Of course, La Bahia is going to be in that first place position with 109 and Valados with 93. And then there we go. We saw today IT official grabbing that third place with the 86.
And it just also goes to show that, you can have a decent day on your day, but once we combine the lobbies, Fuego, our 15 from today falling down to 6th and 7th, ONU even in 5th place, because you still got to remember the performance for teams like La Bahia, Invalidos Club 9D, the top 3 teams from yesterday's lobby, are going to kind of push some of those teams down overall. So that is to say, you can see how close so many of these teams coming down to 1 point, 1 placement point, maybe even a kill. Team Money and Team Butcher, 1 point apiece. Osaka from yesterday tied up with Team Butcher from today. And then you look on the right-hand side, and things really aren't that much of a drop-off there. Tokyo Indie Esport with 43 points. High Religion from today with 42. So things are definitely going to be close. And as we shake things up next week, remember, we are going to start things up with B versus C. But we'll go ahead and take a quick look, I believe, if we've got it, for the top killers from both days combined. Sanji still holds on to it above yesterday. 25 kills overall for the day. It's going to be La Bahia's Damidios, with 24 kills. And then Axino with 20, Kyrox with 16, and Axel with 15 kills for the weekend.
We know Sanji was seriously on every single kill board for today, except one singular game where my heart absolutely broke. But it does look like no matter what, he was still able to find himself at the very top of those kill leaders from all of the groups for this week. And I would also like to say, just in case people didn't realize just yet, that it is the top 8 that all of these teams are definitely shooting for. I know you said it before, going to go ahead and reiterate. And this is only week 1. So starting next week, that's really where all of the action is going to be starting, because that's really where the points are definitely going to matter. Hopefully these teams will be able to figure out how they need to continue to play these matches.
Yeah, and as you said earlier in the day, next week we'll be at the halfway point. There's only 3 weeks for all of the teams to compete, and we've just got week 1 down out in the bag. Now, we had lobbies A versus B, lobbies C versus D. We will return next week, and it is going to be lobby A versus C to start, and then B and D will finish out the week. So guys, make sure that you do tune in. We'll be on twitch.tv/freefire and youtube.com/freefire North America. So make sure that you guys subscribe to those channels, get the alerts, and don't miss out on any of the action. You can also follow Free Fire North America here on Twitter if you'd like to keep up to date on what's going on, not only with Free Fire, but with esports as well. Because remember, this is our inaugural season for Free Fire Pro Series here in North America. We'll have plenty more esports action to go forward. That said, Span Cargo, any more closing thoughts as we round out the day?
This is an amazing first week, and I cannot wait to see what these players are going to go on ahead and do to continue it. Good luck to everyone, and of course, have fun. Thanks for having me today, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next week.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to cast with you, Span, as always. But that is it for us. So from everybody here at Torch Productions, Free Fire Pro Series, Span Cargo, and myself, we want to thank you for tuning in and cheering on your favorite players. We will return again next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. So make sure you tune in. We'll see you there. Until then, play more Free Fire.